we remember that, we're going to be good.
Yep.
I think
Everyone
that
agree?
was the first thing that showed up on stream.
Yeah.
Because I was about to say we're on air. And I also realized once I hit the button, Carter Craig.
Oh, good. Yeah, we'll do that before I actually start my intros. In the meantime, if anyone's actually watching this right now on stream, then wow, you joined us really fast.
Also, hi.
There we go. Craig, our recorder bot. Excellent. All right. Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Hikaru, and this is Midgardia and our new game, Titan's Heir, which is a production by Team Super Hydra on Patreon, written by DM Dave, which apparently is really well known because he puts so much out there. This is his newest project, along with a bunch of other artists and talented people, and we've decided to play it as they produce it. So every month they're putting out a new chapter, and then we're gonna play it. So we'll see how that goes. Before we begin, I would like to say thank you to our sponsor, Roll20.net, which is a great virtual tabletop solution for all your tabletop needs. Be that 5th edition D&D or pretty much any tabletop game under the sun. There is a whole library of different games that you can play on Roll20. And just yesterday, they released the new dynamic lighting on the dev server. So for all pro and up people who have an account, you can test out their new dynamic lighting system. I just tested it out last night. It looks pretty cool. Still has some bugs probably, but yeah. They're doing away with the old fog of war and the advanced fog of war that didn't really work for anyone, including ourselves. So they made it better, and they even made it so that you can put on your icon on the tokens if they have dark vision. It's like a feature. You just tell it how much dark vision you have, and it automatically shows you what your character can see as an elf or whatever dark vision creature you have. So yeah, thank you to Roll20 for the sponsorship. And these are my players.
Hello, my name is Matt, he, him. Playing Ziri tonight.
Hi, I'm Sho, also he, him. I'm playing Copper model number 7119.
Hi, I'm Zayu, she, her, and I am playing Ashanti, a Umbral Lurker Warlock.
Hello, I'm Nina. I'm playing Tan tonight, pronouns she, her, and Tan is a halfling fighter.
Hi, I'm Michelle. My pronouns are she, her. I'm playing Zenbrex, an elven ranger. Their pronouns are they, them.
Excellent. That's exactly what the overlay says. It's perfect. Also, I appreciate Yuzu and putting the Omirian name like right in the corner there. It looks great. I love it.
I didn't know what else to do. It's a big map.
It's a huge map, but it's mostly there just for background. For now, because you guys don't even know where you are on the map. So that's just the world we're in. Oh, the world of Omiria. All right, so first things first, we have a lot of different characters here. I know where some of you are. I believe we had already worked out that Copper and Ziri were on board the Predator when it crashed. And the rest of you, I have two possible options of like what ship you were on before the storm that turned you into a washed ashore survivor. one is working for the Tip of the Spear, and the other one is working for the Secrets of the Righteous. Since we don't have any Dinzers in the party, I kind of assume that you guys were probably working for the Tip of the Spear, or am I mistaken?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
That does not mean necessarily that you belong to the Tip of the Spear. It just means you took a job from them. We can work out later if your character actually wants to be part of the Tip of the Spear. But yes, the Tip of the Spear has been recruiting because they found they discovered the location of an island that they believed contained lost treasure. And you decided this sounded like a great idea to join and maybe get some money out of this lost treasure, whatever that is. But your ship was destroyed in a storm. You washed up on the beaches of an island, and along with a couple of other people that you found yourselves with. And the same day that you were kind of picking yourselves up off the beach and surveying your surroundings and seeing what, if anything, of your equipment was still on you, you saw another ship, this time a Blimp, fall out of the sky and crash and burn in the forest, not too far from where you landed, where you found yourself on the beach. It took you guys, well, I'm not sure how fast you guys want to try and go see what happened to that ship that just came in. But to begin with, anything on your sheet, you're basically, whatever you had worn, you still have. The rest got washed away. That's probably including weapons.
Okay.
But most likely you guys were wearing armor when you were washed off the boat, off the ship. So you still have your armor at least. And anything that you can convince me you have secured to your body in terms of weapons, like hidden knives.
Well, as the ranger that they are, they of course have hidden daggers in their boots.
Okay, that's fair enough. I could see daggers surviving, being washed into the waves.
It isn't a weapon, but considering I'm a caster, would it be considered fair that my component pouch was safely latched onto me in some way?
Yeah, I could see your component pouch surviving. You might not have all of your... You might have to replenish some components because they're waterlogged.
Amusingly enough, one of my components is a glass of water, so I don't think I have an issue there. I'm not kidding. I looked at what components I need. One of them is a glass of water.
I'm just assuming you have like a little like potion bottle with water in it for that.
Probably.
All right, fair enough. You have your component pouch with some waterlogged supplies. I mean, as much as component pouches are probably made of water, like water-resistant material because rain, I don't think there's a bit of a difference between rain and I just got dunked in the ocean for a couple of hours.
Not to mention it's salt water.
Yeah, so if you had any like ash, it is now a paste.
No. Cup of water and Eye of a Newt.
That's probably in a bottle too, so it's probably safe.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone keeps Eye of Newt just loose in there. It's like, I need to find something. Ugh, no, not that one.
Oh, that's too squishy. Yeah, no.
All right. Is there anything Tan might have kept?
No, I don't really think so.
Fair
Most
enough.
of mine were just like weapons I kept on me, and I don't think I can argue enough to say that I held onto my rapier. But
Yeah, larger
Nope.
weapons. I mean, when it's a case of you're about to drown, do I keep holding the weapon and make sure it
you're
doesn't?
gonna drop it.
It's like, this piece of driftwood is better than my sword.
Technically speaking, you could have used the sword to, like, stab into the wood to get a better grip.
Not with a rapier,
Could.
honestly.
With a rapier, probably not, but if you say had a dagger on your belt, you could make an argument for that.
I can make an argument for my hand axes. I have 2 hand axes.
I could see you trying to keep one hand axe at least and like
Probably
using
one.
that. Yeah, we'll say you have one hand axe.
Okay.
That'll definitely come in handy later. What are you doing, cat? Don't at me. It's just like hearing noises in the background. Okay, so that's what you guys washed up on shore. We have a map of the island, which I'm going to slowly reveal to you guys as you explore. And I have to mark where you guys are on. Okay, no, go back to your box. Say hi to the stream.
Hi, Earl.
Okay.
Stream
Hi.
kitty.
Stream kitty. Are you happy now? Will you let me do my job?
Nope.
All right. Go to your box. You have a box right there. You can see me from there. Okay. All right. Hexes. How long has it been since anyone's used hexes for anything? All right, so you
Strahd.
guys, the 3 of you are on the hex by the ocean, and you saw the crash right over about 2 hexes into the forest.
I mean,
So
if
you've
anything,
washed up. Sorry?
if anything survived the explosion, we might be able to get supplies from it.
I'll see what I
Yeah,
can do.
I wanted to scan the beach, see if there's any other survivors and things like
Okay.
that.
You scan the beach, and it's fairly open in the beach itself. It seems to go on for quite a few miles in the same direction as what your hex is showing there, more or less. You see, from what you can tell right now, there's 2 other people besides yourself. You see another shorter figure and a taller figure that washed ashore relatively close to each other within that 3 mile. Each hex is 3 miles, by the way, on the map. But it seems like it's just the 3 of you that are picking yourselves up, checking your things, and also staring at where the smoke is billowing out of the forest.
Did any of our supplies wash up as well, or is it just a bunch of wood?
From what you can tell, just driftwood and pieces of like open crates, but like nothing in terms of supplies itself.
So who's on the beach with me?
It is Tan and Ashanti.
So I go over to Tan and see if you awake. You good?
Yep, I'm okay. I like shove my axe into the ground and like get up. Like, okay. There's another person. I go over to Ash.
Ash is just slowly getting up, groaning a bit. Oh wow, there's some more survivors. Fantastic. Is it really just 3 of us?
Seems like it.
More than
Looking
I
around.
expected.
Yeah, look around. Doesn't seem like any of our stuff made it. There's smoke yonder.
Yeah, do you... I think we should go that way, maybe. I mean, if our stuff didn't show up, maybe we can take other people's stuff. I mean, they're probably dead. Probably.
Fair enough. Best travel as a group.
Yeah.
I'd agree. I'd agree with that.
Do we want to be loud about it? Do we want to try to perhaps not be so loud?
I'd rather try not to be loud.
Is it like a thick forest like in front of us or behind us? Or is it just like kind of trees and...
I just muted myself. It is tropical, so you have a lot of like... It's the ground is sparse in terms of vegetation. Words, they're hard. You have a lot of like palm trees and that kind of. It gets thicker as you look into the forest,
Okay.
and then you have like the fronds and all that kind of thing at the level that you'd be walking. Plenty of places to hide, honestly, if that's a concern. But consider it difficult terrain in terms of how difficult it is to move across this, just because of the underbrush and slippery rocks and so on. But yeah, if you want to go stealthily, you absolutely can. There is plenty of places to hide.
That's how I'd like to go.
Yes, for now, stealth might be the best option.
Agreed.
Okay. So you all move stealthily into the forest and head in the direction of the smoke. As you are heading there, and it turns out to be quite a trek. At one point early in your trek, you do hear a bit of an explosion coming from the ship that crashed. And long before you see the crash site itself, you start running into things, debris from the ship, pieces of the this was a war blimp, so it had like the big envelope, so there's pieces of envelope on the trees that have given it a bit more of a canopy, so it starts getting even darker as the closer you get there, just because of the fact that you have like drapes of canvas on top of the trees. You also find here and there these like little spheres, kind of like made of like glass. Most of them are completely cracked, but a couple of them catch your eye because one or two are actually not on the ground. They're like floating above the ground.
How high above the ground?
Not much, because most of these were not intact. But you find a couple that are like floating maybe like a foot off the ground.
That's magic. I don't do any of you know this type of stuff?
I just walk over and poke it.
It's like,
Yep.
It almost reminds you of those like a smaller version of the orbs that they use for divination.
Fascinating.
But they're like a bit smaller, like that sized.
I'm gonna take this with me. This is interesting.
And yeah, like you push it up and it kind of like floats slightly. You can tell that whatever magic made these things float is fading because of the accident that happened, or just the crash itself has broken a lot of them. Give me a Arcana check.
Okay. 20.
Wow. I thought you were second level.
I rolled really high. Listen.
You did. You recognize these as drift globes. They are used to keep blimps in the air, and you realize the envelope part must have been filled with these things, and that's what kept the Blimp in the air. And when it got ruptured on the way down, it just trailed these things everywhere. Now, normally, like a regular drift globe, you'll know that also has works as a light source. However, the ones that are used for these are generally they don't bother with the light enchantment because they're used just to keep the Blimp in the air. So the only thing this thing can do, it's a bauble that can float.
I mean, to be fair, that could actually be useful, so I'm going to keep it with me. But okay. I do just look at the other two and it's like, it's harmless. Literally all it does is float. It's good at floating.
All right, if you say so. Is there anything else that we notice?
Give me a perception check.
15.
Okay, 15. Besides pieces of the ship that crashed, especially of the envelope, but also like there's a bit of rigging here and there that has collapsed. You notice, like hidden within the like fronds and plants, you notice a couple of cages, like made of iron. And they look. You find a couple. One is like smaller. The other one looks like it would fit like a medium creature, bent out of shape and opened. But here and there, once you notice the first few, you notice that there's a couple more here and there. Like there's these like cages that have like apparently fallen out of the ship on the way down.
So are they all open? Are there any of them locked? We just have a bunch of open cages.
Well, most of them were broken on the way down, so bent out of shape. So maybe some of them aren't exactly like the locks are still intact, but the bars are twisted so that whatever was inside could have escaped. Some of them just the hinges broke off on the way down, so the lock is fine, but the other side of the door is loose.
So if they were shipping something, a whole bunch of stuff is free now.
You do find a couple of bodies of creatures, generally smaller creatures. So not all of them survived the fall, or some of them may have like limped from the cages on the way after the crash.
Anything obviously dangerous or odd, or is it like standard animals?
From the ones that you can tell right now, they look like standard animals. So you have like, I don't know, a duck, which definitely doesn't belong on a like subtropical island. You find like a dead weasel, just like, yeah, that was definitely in one of the cages, and so on. Like you find a badger hanging from a tree, and it's like,
You want to keep going? Yep. Food. Do we want to keep going?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still going stealthily.
Okay. All right. So we're going to quickly switch to the other two. Copper and Ziri, you were on this ship as it crashed down. You had plenty of warning because shit went down on that ship. In Matt's case, because Matt wasn't in that one shot, there was a gnome terrorist on board that tried to rig the ship to explode. Band of people on the ship managed to take him down and capture him, but not before he had set a bunch of automatons that were on the ship loose. And that's kind of what led to the whole crashing into this island. Most of the people that were on board, including the adventurers, all went into one of the central areas. But then one of them decided, no, we have to save the animals that are down below. And a couple of the other people went, no, wait. And they went with her. And you are like, that seems like a bad idea. And then you crashed. Everything is on fire. And you can hear popping noises. And you recall something about the crystal that used to power this thing is a very dangerous thing. And consider that maybe staying on board this ship after it crashed, not a good idea. You did, at the moment of impact, kind of lost consciousness. So you wake up, you are outside the ship, but still like close to it. You're not sure who else survived, but you can see a bit of movement here and there of others who are picking themselves up after the crash.
Okay. Excuse me. All right. Does it look like there's like an imminent explosion about to happen, or does the fires look small?
Fires look small, but kind of all over the place. A lot of it is burning, like steadily now. You can hear some pops of as it gets to different things. It looks like it because of the humidity of this place. Most of what's on fire is the ship itself. The forest itself hasn't actually caught fire because of it. And somehow you guys managed to land in a bit of looks like a bit of a clearing. So at least there's not that much tree cover, but you look up and it's kind of hard to see because most of the envelope is creating like a roof above. But you think that most likely, if nothing changes, that envelope is probably going to catch fire and fall down on top of everything and smother it.
Okay, then I guess I'll just kind of like take stock of like who around me, or if you said there's other people potentially moving, so take stock of who all is around, how injured people look, and just try to see if there's anyone that I can basically move to safety away from this burning wreckage.
Okay. You see a couple of figures moving, and you recognize one of the bigger figures that moves suddenly, like just pushes things off, and you see Haku, the first mate, and you see him. It looks first like he's like holding his hand closer to his body, but then you realize that he's like looking down and trying to check to see if like what he's carrying is still alive.
Hey there, you all right?
He looks up at you and goes, "Oh yes, yeah, a bit singed. That was more importantly, he's good." And he like holds up the bunny. And he
Okay.
like puts it like in. He has like the tattered remains of his cloak, and it just like puts the rabbit in his cloak and goes, "Well, this is a mess. Let's see if we can find more people."
Yeah, good idea. I'll help you out as much as I can.
All right, and the two of you start looking through the wreckage. In about like 5 minutes later, you've found three of the other crew members. Ivoxar, Kizar, and Ifune. They are three Dinzers that were part of the ship. And they gather themselves up, see what's happening to the ship, and go, well, I don't know if there's more survivors, but we should probably get the hell out of there.
Yeah, it sounds like a good idea.
As you guys are considering what might be able to salvage and what maybe it would be better to just move away from the wreckage, you notice that from what appears to be the frontal hold section, there's movement and someone else seems to be coming out of the wreckage.
I'd like to move toward where that movement's gonna just like pull aside any debris and help out whoever's trying to get out of there.
You pull the wreckage aside and you see this knight. It looks kind of, it reminds you of the like automatons that were fighting earlier, but this one has more of like a humanoid shape and kind of sort of like the captain of the ship looked like, but it looks like an older model.
All right. Just steady there. Here, let me help you up there.
Thank you.
Offer a hand.
This one is confused. It seems to be malfunctioning. And then I'll take the hand, get up. I'm a bit heavier than it seems.
Oop. You're a big fella there, aren't you? Come on. Oh, the back. Oh, what a way to start a vacation. Oh. And for record, Ziri is a tall, very tall, about 7.5 foot tall furbolg. Definitely has a dad bod going. Takes up a lot of space.
Copper is actually only about 6'2", but they're very, very heavy.
Okay. So, this doesn't look too safe. This thing might be about to blow. Let's probably should get away from this as fast as we can. There's a few other people from the ships that made it up.
That's good. We should leave. If I could express, I would be confused.
Yeah, you and me both. I'm not used to seeing. I mean, I've seen machines and all, but not a whole lot of ones that walk and talk.
It was not in this one's primary objective.
Okay.
This one thinks it's bugged.
Hmm.
And then just gonna keep walking.
All right. I will follow.
All right, so the two of you start moving away from the wreckage, and Copper, as you get your bearings, you're like, yeah, it seems like for the most part your body's intact at least, so you can walk just fine. You're still confused as to what's going on because this isn't normal, but you don't have much time to figure that out as you start with the rest of the survivors to move away from the wreckage. And that is about when the other three start creeping up and looking out to the wreckage and the fires, and you can see the figures of what appears to be 5 survivors limping their way away from the wreckage.
Well, it looks like there were survivors. They're not trying to loot the ship, though. Should we be concerned about that?
There's a possibility there's danger within the ship, so maybe we stay back for a hot second.
Has that big explosion happened yet?
The big explosion happened on your way there, and it took you about 3 hours to get this close to the fires. So it's been 3 hours since you left the beach to arrive to this point. So that's how long it took you to cross the at a slow pace through the forest. Jungle. Still a forest.
I think they're survivors.
Probably. They kind of outnumber us, though.
I was gonna say, do we make ourselves known or do we just stay back?
They're gonna find out about us eventually, don't you think?
The numbers?
I mean, if they head towards the beach, they're gonna find signs of our wreckage.
Do we recognize any of their like clothing or anything that would say like perhaps what region they're from that any 3 of us might know?
Give me history checks.
Garbage. That's a 2.
It's hard to see sometimes. It's just a bit jumbled.
Why am I interested in clothing?
That's true.
I got an 11.
11 for you. And is Tan rolling a history check?
Sure. Really sure how to do it on here.
You click on history and it'll roll. Or just since you already rolled, what's your history bonus?
2.
Yeah, if you click on the name of your skill, it'll roll the check.
Okay. My history is 2.
Okay, so that would be a 16. All right. I'd say Zembrix and Tan both recognize. Well, all of you recognize that the shorter people look like Dinzers. They've got the like dark tan skin, kinky black hair of the Dinzers. They're the human race of Omeria. They're pretty popular. There's a lot of them everywhere. You also see a large panda folk. He's think werebear, but with panda colorations. And a Fairbolg and what looks to be a man in armor, possibly? Or something like that. Tan, you recognize a bit of the colors and look of two of the Dinzers to be wearing what looks to be military uniforms. Dinzer military uniforms. And you recognize that the man in armor isn't actually a man in armor. It's what is known as a remote traveler. They are kind of, think out of game Warforged, but in this case, it's like a suit of armor that is remotely used by someone who is not there. So they're like mechs that are controlled from afar, generally used by either people who cannot be on the front lines or don't want to be on the front lines in battle. They use these remote travelers to they pilot these remote travelers and work through them.
I kind of relay all that. What I recognize.
What do we know about Dinser military? Is it something that everyone's afraid of, or?
The Dinzers have the largest. There's a word I think it's an empire. I believe that's the word I'm looking for. There is an empire of Odenburg, which is a large area to the south. If you let me just put you guys back on the big map. They control most of central and northern Omeria. And if I'm not mistaken, Knotside belongs to them as well. I think that's one of their bigger cities. So, wow, that pink color is terrible. Let me change it. There, that's more visible. But they're all over the place. In terms of military, yeah, they have they're one of the more, let's call it technologically advanced civilizations on this world because of their techno magic. They also control the skies because they have the war blimps. They are the ones that created these airships. So the fact that there are people with military colors on board this ship probably means that the ship that crashed was of military bent. AKA, it wasn't just a blimp, it was actually a war blimp. What they were doing out here, who knows? Maybe they were looking for the same island you guys were looking for, which hopefully is this one and not some random other one.
Do we need to worry about being like arrested on site or anything like that?
As far as you know, they're about in the same situation as you are, so you're not really sure what good arresting would do them. But also, in as far as like current world history, there is no wars going on. There was a war recently, but that was at least a couple months ago. I'm not too familiar yet with the timetable of everything that's happening on the world, but currently, I'd say they probably were not on a like actual military job, and there's no reason for you to think that even if they knew you were working for the tip of the spear, the tip is something that is has base in the different Dinzer cities and is more of a like an adventurers guild. So there's no reason for the Dinzer military to worry about if you were tip of the spear to arrest you.
I'm fine going out and meeting them. I don't think it's a good idea to hide at this point. If anything, we'd be splitting possible safe areas to stay. We don't know what this jungle has in store for us.
Agree with that.
I'll slowly step out.
I'll follow.
Stay back.
All right. So those of you making your way out of the wreckage, you notice that just to the south of the actual ship remains, there is a bit of a clearing. And from the other side of the southern side of the clearing, you see two figures step out of the shadows.
Oh, hey, there's a couple more folk over there.
Hello?
Hi. You all right?
As fine as we can be. What about you lot?
Well, I think we're all right, all things considering. You know, seeing as other than crashing on a big airship, you know, I think we're okay. Were you on that ship, or?
No, we were on a different ship that crashed, but, you know, ocean crash instead of air crash.
Well, this seems to be a popular place for ships to get wrecked, at least.
Apparently.
I'm Ziri, by the way. Who are you?
Name's Ash.
Hi.
Sinbrix.
Hi.
Ah, now I know your name. Cool. What about the big guy right beside you?
This one is Copper Model 7119.
Copper it is then.
I look at the Denzers and it's like, greetings. How you doing?
They kind of nod. Oh, well, if we're doing introductions, and Tohaku goes, "Welcome, welcome! I'm glad to see more survivors, even if they're not from our ship. My name's Tohaku, and these are my crewmates." And he points to the one with the bushy beard and goes, "That's Ivoxar, that's Kazar, and Ifune." Actually, I think it's Irune. They changed her name a bit.
Well, so far I like Haku. I don't know about you, though.
So, are we going to be like in this together, or do we need to like worry about something?
No, we're in this together, all right. I mean, We'll have to see what we can salvage from the ship. But we might want to let the fires die down on their own before we try approaching it, just in case. I'm not sure how stable that crystal is after whatever that Raros did.
It might be advisable to try and find something that could help things along.
Well, I might be able to do something about some of this. How big across or how long is the wreckage?
Well, the ship kind of split in two on the way down, but the fires themselves are not widespread thanks to the humidity of the jungle.
Okay.
So most of the fires are like small areas that are maybe 5-10 feet across.
Okay. I will just kind of give me a minute. I might be able to put some of this out. I'll grasp the kind of dream catcher like necklace that he's got around his neck. Begin muttering an incantation, and I will cast Create Water and make it rain in a 30-foot cube over just the largest area of fire around the ship.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that works. That combined with the humidity kind of snuffs out most of the fires. There's a bit here and there that may have been out of the area. I don't have the ship on me right now, but I believe it was like 120 feet across.
If I can see any that are within 120 feet of me that like are relatively small, I can just snuff those out with basically shadows.
Okay. All right. So you watch as Kinzir sets up this large area of rain that slowly starts snuffing out the fires, and then Ashanti kind of looks over to the areas not getting any rain and just starts like pointing at them, and you just see like shadows just like poof, snuffing out the fires.
Yeah, I can only do it with small fires, but hey, the small ones he can't reach, I can snuff out. And I
So it
don't have
takes
to
the
get
two
too
of you
close.
probably something like maybe half an hour to snuff out all the flames, but by the end of that half hour, it looks like everything is either smoldering ash or just finishing its fiery death.
I make a signal to Tan like it's okay to come out.
Kind of during that time, I've just been like watching the perimeter, like watching what's happening in the forest, just making sure nothing's gonna like sneak up on us and try and attack.
Okay.
Um,
Give me a perception check. $19. All right. You're looking at the edges. You saw the cages. You're kind of worried as to maybe if they had larger creatures, and also what the heck lives in this forest. Granted, given the wreckage, maybe it has spooked most of the animals away from this area for now. And then you see a tiny figure kind of lurking and like hiding but looking out and kind of peering at what everyone else is doing, and you see the glint of like glass on like goggles and what looks to have been at some point a like white, almost like a lab coat, but now it's completely dirty, and he seems to be like watching kind of like you from the edge of the forest at what the rest of the people are doing. And the Denzers and Haku are busy. Whatever Ashanti is not working on, they're like throwing dirt on any fires that remain to put things out.
Okay. Just keep an eye on them. I don't motion to anybody or tell anybody else, but I just keep an eye.
Okay. Keeping an eye on him, you eventually recognize that whoever this person is, he seems to be a gnome of elderly age. He's got like white hair on his head, and he just seems to be like hiding, watching, not really moving too much, just keeping out of sight of the rest of the people that are out in the clearing.
And he doesn't see me.
He doesn't seem to see you because you're still hiding, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's concentrated on looking at mostly the people that were on the boar blimp.
Okay. If he's not making any move, I just let him be for a while.
Okay. All right, so most of the fires have been set out. You all realize you have this bit of a clearing to the south of it, and you have the crash site to the north with most of the fires have been put out. And at one point, after most of the fires have been put out, Haku kind of gingerly steps into where he knows the back of the ship was, comes out like 10 minutes later going, well, it looks like the ship's core is intact. We won't have to worry about that blowing up, thankfully. May want to keep people out of there, though, because that's dangerous.
Karu?
Yes.
Would we be able to tell what time of day it is?
By now I'd say it's mid-evening. You probably have like 2 or 3 hours left before it gets dark.
Okay. Can I see any pieces of this ship that haven't been soaked? That maybe can be used for firewood?
Yeah. Probably.
Okay, cool. I'm just gonna start collecting that. I just start moving to go grab that shit because it's like, okay, it's gonna get dark soon, and we should probably have a fire going before then.
Okay.
I've noticed that Tan hasn't come, and I know which way we came from. I want to go. Oh, on here, like up. May I move myself?
Yeah, go for it.
I would like to start up here and then do like a perimeter coming back to where I know Tan was. Because I don't like the fact that Tan hasn't come out yet.
All right. So you're going around the perimeter looking for Tan, or just looking in general, or just trying to hide your...
Yeah, I want to go in. I definitely want to stealth and slowly make my way, trying to figure out, like, are they in trouble? Have they found something?
Okay. Give me a stealth check. Stealthiest ranger.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. That was supposed to whisper. Anyways, yeah, you start stealthing your way south, and give me a perception check. And at this point, Tan, why don't you give me a stealth check as well, just to see how you're doing with the hiding?
I got a 22 in perception.
Excellent.
I got a 17 on stealth.
Just changing this sheet so I can actually roll. All right. Well, the gnome is not great at stealthing. He's mainly hoping that no one's actually looking. So you start stealthing around the corner of around the perimeter of the camp, and manage to spot this guy, this tiny gnome scientist looking guy with white hair and like goggles hiding inside a bush just watching everyone, and you're like, that one's new. And then further on down south you can also see Tan hiding, also watching the survivors.
I want to take out one of my daggers and come up from behind and not stab the gnome, but make my presence known with the dagger
Mm-hmm.
firmly in that bag.
Okay.
If I see Zenbrix make eye contact with me, I'm just gonna shrug and I take out my hand axe and I go like the other way, so that we're kind of like flanking him.
Okay. Does because Zenbrix is oh yeah, you actually rolled higher in your perception than yourself.
Yeah.
So wait, no, that's Zenbrix. Give me a perception check for Tan. Unless Zenbrix is actually hailing Tan before approaching. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Let's see
want
if
this.
Tan sees. Yeah, you don't actually see this happening. You're concentrated on like the rest of the camp, and it's like, possibly
Okay.
thinking of maybe I should be helping, but it's nice and comfy here.
Fine. It's a little safer.
Yep. So you don't see this happening. Zembrix, you approach from behind this gnome, and he kind of stiffens as he feels the dagger. He doesn't call out just because he doesn't want the rest of the people to know. And he's been keeping an eye on the survivors of the crash. So he knows it's not one of them unless someone else survived. And he's like, kind of glances back and goes, "Can I help you?"
Who are you?
A survivor of the crash, just like everyone else. I'm just,
Excellent. And we'll say hi to everybody together. I'm gonna push them on out.
He's like,
Don't.
"Oh, Bedman." Yeah, okay. It's like he doesn't really have an option, and you just push him out into the open.
Yes. Yes.
The rest of you see Zembrix coming out of the shadows, escorting a tiny gnome that
And I'm gonna call it, hey, to Haku. Found another one. I know you're so happy to find us survivors.
the large bear. How tall is he? He's 7 feet tall. So this large 7 foot tall bear comes over and goes, "Oh, great, another survivor." You. And he's like, "Hi." Of all the people to survive, it had to be him. Well, maybe we should tie him up again. He's like, "Oh, let's not be so fast. Look, I know it was a bad idea, and I'm really... Hey, that was Craig.
Craig.
Craig, why do you do this? Get back in here. All right. It was just a misunderstanding. Look, I understand now. I was in the wrong. Look, the crash and everything, just I really don't want to die. So I think we're all in this together now, and we should probably not, bother with the whole like tying up. I can help. I can probably help. I'm good at doing things.
First mate, what did he do?
He's the reason we crashed.
Yeah, I'm just gonna walk right up to him and raise a fist.
The small gnome's like, "Please don't hit me. I'm an old man."
While Ash is watching this, she just leans back against a tree, across her arms, is like, "I'm gonna point out, if this guy's the cause of your crash, he's just gonna be another mouth to feed, and we don't know where we're gonna find food."
Look,
It'd be an unnecessary risk.
I can help though. I can help you instead. I'm an inventor. I can help create things. You're gonna need my help. Who knows when we're gonna be found on this stupid island? You don't really want to deal with. You don't want to kill me. That's just outright murder.
Let's see. How many people, Taku, died on this ship?
I'd say around 7.
So
Maybe
you,
less.
little gnome, have murdered 7 people.
4, no, maybe 5. 4 or 5. I can't remember exactly how many people were on board.
Still murdered some people.
Well, and it's not just that. He had rigged the crystal on the ship to explode. He was going to make the whole ship explode on top of Knotside and murder thousands, millions of people.
Unacceptable. And then I'm gonna crack him across the face.
Oh, this is getting out of hand.
Not really.
No, it's not.
So,
Zenbrex is going to make sure that the gnome takes it.
You crack him across the face, and he's injured. He was in the crash as well, so like he goes down and just like passes out. And Tahaku's like, I don't know. I mean, we should be handing him in to the authorities, but I don't know how long that's gonna take. And but
he could be a hindrance to us now.
Well, as far as authorities, I mean, do we even know where we are or where this island is?
no.
Well, situations like this, I always like to see what's in the stars. I'll if there's like any like branches around or anything like that, I'll just take one, kind of stick it in the ground, take the necklace off, hang it over the top, and said, "Well, let's see what the stars have to say about this one." I'll do a little chant, and I'll cast augury.
Okay.
And I would like to know, basically, will it be beneficial or harmful to us to basically, is it better to just leave the gnome on his own, or keep him with us? What would be more beneficial?
It's kill him or keep him alive.
Yeah, let's be real here.
Yeah. Yeah, Ziri. Yeah.
Yeah, well, all right. I'm not really a fan of killing people, especially little shrimps like this one. But all right, let's see what the heavens dictate. And
Death comes in all forms.
I'm also going to point out you don't have to kill him, therefore you didn't kill him, and it's not your problem. And his problems will be over.
Problems should be removed.
All right, and you're casting augury.
Yes.
Okay. You get weal and woe.
Oh, all right. Well, I mean, I understand. I can understand folks being, perturbed at him. I wasn't planning on crashing here myself, but I don't know. Something tells me he might have some uses to him.
Maybe
like, for instance, go ahead. Sorry.
Maybe we should just have Haku sit on him.
I think I'm more useful if I'm doing things instead of sitting on a gnome.
Wouldn't it make you feel better, though?
Do y'all have a way of keeping him under control?
Well, we can keep an eye on him.
Look,
20 eyes if we need to.
Look, I'm sorry if I overstep. Is your ship? Guess he's your problem, but all I'll say is, if you need it done, I'll do it.
Tahaku kind of like looks at the rest of you and goes, looking for pointing fingers. We would have to do something about Voxar here too. And I don't think it's good of us to start murdering the people that survived this just because of something that happened before the crash. we may need all hands on deck if we're going to survive this forest. And to be fair, the forest itself might kill us. So, do we really want to help the forest?
I glance behind me, just making sure nothing else is back there, and I step forward. And I'm like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, see, there's the forest.
They're with us. They're with us.
Oh, okay.
They were just making sure we were all safe. That's all.
Mm-hmm. I will point out it was your ship, Haku, so, I mean, if you don't want him dead, I guess it's your final decision, because he's the one who seems to have ruined your livelihood, possibly?
I'm just going to look at the rest of them and see if any of them have a difference of opinion, and then I guess I'll just shrug a shoulder, grab the gnome, and fling him over my shoulder. Like a potatoes.
Look, all I'm saying is maybe we should see what happens and keep an eye on them. But I think if Voxar here agrees with me that, well, as long as they behave themselves, then maybe that'll be good for when, civilization eventually finds us. And Voxar kind of like shrugs, goes, "Look, he paid me. That's all I'm saying. Honestly, if I had known he was going to blow up the ship with me on it, I would have not taken the job."
Fair enough.
And I think you got that the other way around. I think we're going to have to be finding civilization.
Would people come looking for you? Like, did you have anything important on that ship people are going to come hunting for?
Yes. The Odombergite.
The what now?
The crystal.
Oh. So keeping near the ship is probably a good idea, because if people come, they're going to want to find this ship.
That crystal's too valuable. They're going to be looking for it. And honestly, if we can find Captain Cage's remote traveler, or he kind of glances at Copper. I still don't know what's going on with that one. If we can communicate with Cage, then he can use the remote traveler perhaps as a locating beacon. But we'll have to find that remote traveler and get it working again for that to work.
Well, I will say we didn't see one of those while we were walking here. We just saw a lot of empty cages.
He's called Captain Cage. That doesn't mean he's in cage. He's
no,
cage.
Empty cages.
Oh, yeah. We were carrying a bunch of creatures from a zoo. Unfortunately, the two zoologists with us decided at the last moment to go free some of the more dangerous monsters that were in the hold right before the crash.
Dangerous how? Should we be concerned?
Well, if you see anything black that's moving that looks like pudding, don't touch it.
Good to know.
We won't know what else escaped until we look inside the hold and count the bodies. But I know we were carrying at least a family of owl bears, a couple manticores, and some other creatures.
What kind of zoo was this?
A very weird zoo. There's a couple harpies too.
I got a question. Were you going somewhere or going back home?
We were heading from Pantmar to Knotside. There's a big zoo in Knotside that we were taking the animals to. That's where we were headed. But we were south of the mountain range when things went, well, south. So we were still south of the basilisk spine.
Hey, Kara, could you show us a map for a moment so we can actually tell what locations you're talking about? Please. Thank you.
So we started in Orbea, went to Pantmar, and then we were going to Knotside. But we didn't make it past the basilisk spine.
Okay, and Karu, we don't know where the island is, but we would at least know around where the water we were going to be looking is. About where did we assume we were going to be?
So, your ship... Oh, God, stop doing that. All right, so your ship left Greatwell, and was heading east.
So we're in the ocean of Warna?
Correct.
Yeah, I'm just gonna look at Haku and be like, you guys got way off course. I hate to tell you this. This is the ocean of Warna. I don't know where we are in the ocean, but that's the ocean we were sailing in.
That's a lot farther than I thought. We must have been going at high speeds. Well, hopefully someone saw the ship passing by and knows the direction we were heading. I'm sure until Captain Cage went offline, at least Captain Cage was aware of the location, or at least had a connection to his remote traveler. I'm not sure when that went. I don't know when he checked out. But he would have alerted the Dinzer military of the fact that the ship had been taken hostage by, and he points at the gnome being carried by Copper. So they'll be sending ships. I just don't know how long it'll take them to find us.
I guess we make camp then. It's gonna get dark soon.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I would like to try and find something defensive. A sword. Something. In case something does attack. I'm okay with, and then I'm just going to hold up my metal fists. But it's a bit inefficient.
Well, we weren't carrying many weapons. But there's plenty of wood if you want to make a club.
Karu, was there any equipment that had been with Copper when he was last used? Like a weapons locker? Or something along that line?
No.
Okay.
All of the automatons that were in the hold had been... the ship itself had been demilitarized because it was doing... It was being used as... basically to ferry people around. So anything military-wise had been stripped from it.
I'd like to find like a steel pole or something if I could. Like maybe one of the things from the cages that could be used as like a staff or a club.
Okay. Sure. Give me a perception check.
Maybe two. Perception or investigation, since I'm looking for something specific?
This has more to do with perception than like you're looking for things.
Yeah, well, I don't know where the cages were, so...
Nope.
Maybe...
What is in pretty high supply right now is if anyone wants to try to climb trees, you could possibly get some of the canvas from the envelope to use as a makeshift tent.
Yeah, I'll take a crack at that.
Okay.
Yeah. Well.
So who's helping with that? Just the two of you?
Yeah, I'll help. I'm 4 foot tall. I'll help as much as I can.
I mean, if somebody needs a leg up, they could totally just climb on top of me.
Well,
Okay.
don't you have the gnome? Or have you put the gnome down?
Step on the gnome.
I look down at the gnome.
He's
It
out
wouldn't
cold.
make much of a
Cool.
difference in terms of height. In fact, I'm heavy enough that I probably would just squish him into the ground.
Considering how soft the ground is in a lot of places here, yeah, you probably already sink into the ground. Just
Considering I'm almost 300 pounds.
well, that's not too much. I think Haku is 400 pounds.
Yeah, well, he's also 7 foot tall.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
And pure muscle.
Yeah, so I'll go, and if I need to reach something, I'll hop on Show's shoulders.
Okay. You want to give me either athletics or acrobatics?
I will give you acrobatics.
Yeah, kind of figured.
23.
I'll do
Excellent.
athletics.
All right. 19. Okay, so the two of you managed to climb the trees, finding perches where, they're not going to bend over for Ziri's case. And between the two of you, you managed to find a piece of the canvas that is not too big that you managed to like dislodge from the tree until it drops to the ground where the rest of the group can use it. So you have a bit of canvas. It looks like it's weatherproof because it was used as the envelope of a blimp. So
So it would have been tied somehow. So can we start looking for like how it was tied, like rope or something?
Yes, though a lot of it is frayed and or burnt or cut because of, the destruction of falling into a forest. Give me perception checks, those interested in looking for pieces of rope.
Sure.
I got 23.
14.
11.
Okay. It's hard to find good sturdy rope, and you're not sure exactly how, like, the longest piece you find is probably something like 20 feet long. A lot of them that you find are more in the like 10-foot range. But I mean, 10 foot, you can always tie them together or at least use them as to like hold down the tent.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Somehow tie down, make a nice big tent.
Okay. So, given the fact that it is getting dark quickly by now, between all the conversation happening, the group makes a bit of a makeshift tent. It's not pretty. It's basically just, you put the tent up with a couple of sticks,
Kind of more like a lean-to.
Kind of more like a lean-to. It's probably right now won't survive a big tropical storm, but hopefully a storm doesn't hit before you have a chance to actually build a proper shelter. So as it gets darker and you start a fire with the wood that was gathered earlier by Ashanti and a couple of the other Dinzers, Haku kind of sits down and goes, well, we'll have to do something about building ourselves a proper shelter tomorrow and figuring out tasks, because I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm getting hungry. And we're going to have to find food and water.
Yeah.
I mean, if some of us decide to expand our search, the others can focus on making shelter.
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind trying to find something to eat.
Excellent. Well, tomorrow we'll figure out what each of us does, and we'll get a proper camp going.
I'll take first watch. Anyone with me?
Sure.
I'll take the middle watch.
Take a final watch.
I can assist someone.
Take your pick.
Doesn't matter when. I'll assist on the middle watch then.
All right. Haku will take the last watch as well. And you all settle down for the night, kind of hungry, because you haven't managed to find any food just yet. But, well, hopefully you find food the next day. And you all take a rest. And I think that's a good point for us to go on break. We'll take a 10-minute break, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
And we are back.
Welcome back, folks. All right, so I realized during the break I forgot to ask about one important detail before we actually like parse the whole long rest bit. What did you all do with Horner, the gnome? Because he probably woke up eventually.
Yeah, probably. Oh man. So,
Zembrix is going to suggest, do you want to repurpose one of them cages? I'm leaving it up to you, Captain. Again.
I have Sentry's Rest, so I could quite literally just sit on him.
Use him as a footrest. That way you don't have your whole weight on him, but I'm pretty sure legs still weigh enough that he's going to be pinned.
Yeah.
I'm honestly not sure that's entirely necessary. I think he realizes that if he goes into the forest at night, he's likely to get killed.
We don't know what he's capable of, though.
How did he almost blow up the ship? What did he use?
He rigged it with some arcane symbols and a lot of cables.
I would rather him be pinned under me.
Well,
that could kind of kill him.
Only if I kick.
Horner kind of looks at you guys and goes, "Look, I'll behave. I don't have any options here, do I? It's not going to get me anywhere if I don't cooperate with you, so I'd rather cooperate."
You'll have to prove yourself before, any semblance of possible trust can happen. So just behave for a couple days.
I just want to get some rest, just like the rest of you, and ideally not break my back in the process. I am rather old, after all.
When we're on watch, we'll watch him. Make sure he stays asleep.
Yeah.
Can I tell if he's being sincerely remorseful or if he's trying to squirrel his way out of this?
Give me a insight check.
Okay. 17.
For the most part, he's being honest in the fact that, like, he realizes that you are all kind of stuck here and he can't do much about it. You get the feeling that he still has, like, an agenda of his own that may be where the woe was coming from in your augury. So definitely someone you still want to keep an eye on. But for now, it seems like he's, at the very least, not up to anything currently.
Okay.
He does seem to have, like, a grudge. You're not sure what to, but, like, he's carrying a grudge against something and that's kind of, like, what you read in terms of, like, he's not entirely, I have seen the error of my ways, because that grudge is still there.
Okay. Does that seem to be directed towards any individuals among us, or just in general? Bigger picture.
Towards the Dinzers.
Okay.
So we're gonna let me sleep without having a automaton on top of me?
How about beside you?
Fine, that's fine. Perfectly fine. At this, Kizar goes like, "Do you really think that's a good idea? He did rig all the other automatons on board the ship to fight us."
I don't think even you guys have control over this one. So I think you're fine.
Yes, he is quite interesting. The gnome kind of like peers up at Copper. I'm really curious as to how he's moving around like that. You can see his like fingers itching for like he goes for what you assume
Touch
was
me and I break your fingers.
his like tool belt that is missing everything pretty much at this point. It's like, no, not that's fine. Not gonna touch you.
And to prove my point, I'd like to grab a rock or something from nearby and just kind of crush it.
What's your strength?
18.
Yeah, all right. He's like, point taken, Mr. Copper.
Copper model number 7119 to you.
That's long. All right.
I think that's the point.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys are gonna keep watch on him, but let him sleep without tying him up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is the test run. If he causes any shit on the first night, it's just going to be a nightmare for him from now on.
Yep. If he so much as moves the wrong way, I'm right beside him, and I'm only inactive. I'm not actually shut down.
Mm-hmm. Hi, cat. Okay. All right. So you take your long rest. You all bunker down in your makeshift tent, and night passes by uneventfully, possibly because whatever possible problems this forest has for you, it's too busy still being spooked by the fact that a huge war blimp just crashed into it.
That's fair.
Is it a clear night or a cloudy night?
There's some light cloud towards the middle of the night.
Okay.
You don't see any stars.
Oh, I don't. Okay.
Yeah, no, it doesn't look like a storm brewing, but it seems like almost as the sun went down, the clouds moved in, and you're not sure if that's just a feature of this island or you just have bad luck, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Then yeah, I'll take my watch with Zed bricks and get some sleep then afterwards.
Okay. Okay. So next morning, dawn has a bit of fog coming in. You can't see very much around you, but as the sun starts to climb, the fog starts to break away, and it seems like it's going to be a clear day. Haku is already getting everyone up. Corner has apparently behaved and has done nothing but sleep during the night and is ready to do what he can to help the party. Now, this is where kind of island exploration mode is going to kick in. I'll put you guys back on your island map.
Okay.
And
Is Earl making that tapping noise?
yes.
Okay.
Yes. Hold on. Give me a second.
Figured I'd ask because that was getting loud on stream. I'm pretty sure it was his tail whacking his tent. Tip the cat.
The DM is familiar is not cooperating.
The DM familiar never cooperates.
You know those like blister packages? I had plastic. I had a package back there, and he was just rubbing up against it. So I hid the package so that
You
he
mean-
can't.
Bubble wrap, you mean?
No, it's just a plastic thing of chocolate covered peanuts.
So a plastic container.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where was I? All right. So, have any of you played Settlers of Catan?
Once.
Once.
Nope.
Well, this is going to be a bit of like a hex crawl and also survival. I did prepare some handouts for you guys.
Woohoo.
So you have a bunch of building projects you can do. And for that, you are going to need building supplies, which you have to gather. And you have a second handout with the different tasks that you can give everyone. You have 10 people. Because you guys are the players, you get to delegate, and you can decide who amongst you does what for the day. And probably your first thing is going to have to be finding food, unless someone has any way to prevent needing food. But, like, yeah, pretty much
Yeah.
all of those tasks are going to
Yeah.
require.
I mean, we're
Yeah, we need
probably
food.
also
Food
sorry,
and water.
we're probably also going to need to find tools, like to make tools or weapons to hunt at the very least.
Acquiring
For
food
the-
and water is going to be our first priority, though.
Yeah.
Again, though, to acquire food, unless we're gathering just like not meat.
I mean, I'll point out, if we find, say, a small wild animal here, I'm pretty sure one Eldritch Blast to their head is going to, like, crush their skull and we'll be able to eat
Yeah,
it.
but it also might splatter the rest of them and make them inedible because, gore.
Okay, fine. We saw, like, 4 or 5 animal bodies while we were coming towards your ship. If those haven't been scavenged, we might be able to use some of those.
I'm just going to shrug because I really don't need to eat.
So there's let's see, including the gnome, all of us, and the crew. There's what, 9 or 10 altogether?
Yep, there's 10 of you. So I'm probably going to suggest we use this map mainly so that you can decide. You have all the tokens there, and you can decide who's doing what for each day.
Okay. I'll go ahead and cast Goodberry
Okay.
and just hand out one to everybody and says, just in case we're not able to find food, these'll keep you going through the day. Just don't eat too many. They're kind of filling.
Well, considering you guys didn't eat the night before, I think most of you are already hungry.
Yeah, Zimbrix is gone. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Everyone's just like, clump.
I'm just going to look at it quizzically and hand it back.
Aw.
Well, I don't really have a mouth. I just have a faceplate.
Okay, so considering we have at least food for today, our main focus can then be water.
Yes.
And resource gathering. Like, we can have some of the crew members stick closer to the ship and collect resources from the ship and the surrounding area.
Yes. One of them, unfortunately, has got to babysit the gnome.
I mean, we can trust Haku with that. I think he'll handle it.
Yeah. Haku, you got that?
Curry, you're muted.
Yeah, I can do that. What do you want us to do?
Well, you know your ship, so maybe see what you can get from that and the surrounding area. And we'll...
AKA gather resources?
You can probably get wood pretty easily from it.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
Do we want to stay in this general area as our shelter, or see if there's maybe something else better nearby? Do we want to explore it all?
It might be wise to stay here, just because there are people who eventually will be looking for the crystal. And if they find the crystal, when we're staying here, they'll find us.
All right.
The next suggestion I have is exploring the island takes quite a bit of water as far as resources go. We have a party member who doesn't need to drink water, so maybe until we find water, we have him go to look for water. Because he's also a machine, so I don't see a lot of animals attacking him because he's not going to provide food for them.
I would need to have some way to bring the water back. So we'd have to get something that I could put the water in. Or, at the very least, I could make a note of where the water is, and then we could go to gather it later when we have more resources like that.
Hey, Karu, question.
Mm-hmm.
Drift globes, are they hollow on the inside?
Unfortunately, no.
Damn it.
That would have been clutch.
There's broken ones all down the path we came from. We could have picked up the broken ones.
Wait. Did on the ship you have like pots or pans or buckets?
We might be able to.
Yeah, we might. At that, hold on, give me a second. Arune actually says, "Well, I was the cook. I could help Haku and look for things in what was the kitchen. See what I can find for pots and pans. We might also be able to find a couple of barrels that might be able to either still be watertight or at least be fixable. We do still have quite a lot of that canvas that we can use to line the interior of a broken one."
That would work.
Since we know our way back and forth from where we crashed, where we washed up from, I mean, sometimes from a crash, stuff comes back to the beach. Maybe we should check out the beach, see if anything washed up in the area where we came in.
That could work.
I was gonna say that was gonna be my suggestion.
Make a second gather resource group and head to the beach. Who do you want to go in that direction?
I'll be part of that group.
I can go that way too, because I know the way.
Yeah, me too.
So that would be those three. What about the remaining four of you? You have two of the Dinzer crew members and Copper and Shanti.
We could maybe try going out a bit into unexplored territory that's around the ship. That way we keep nearby, but we can try and see if we can find a water source.
Yep. You want to take all four on that?
That might be a bit much, do you think?
I would recommend having at least one improve what shelter we have. Because it was fine last night. But tropics are prone to interesting weather patterns.
Why don't we have both of them work on trying to improve the shelter? And then just Copper and I can go out a bit into more unexplored territory and see if we can find water.
Agreed. I would like to find some club or something that I could fix together to make a serviceable weapon or two, just in case along the way.
Okay. For now, you just have an improvised weapon. It would take, because that would be a tool building project there.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Or I mean, I could just, I guess, use my fists. Would I at least be proficient in them, even if it's just one?
Yeah,
plus
you're probably
my strength?
better. Yeah, you're probably better off with your fists for now.
All right, then I'll do that.
All right. Okay. So we have a bunch of rolls to do, and then we'll figure out how to kind of cinematically see what happens during the day for each of you. Do we want to start with the gather resources group?
Sure.
All right, let's see. So you guys are traveling down to the beach to basically search the beach hex for resources, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Um, all right. The three of you can roll. Actually, yeah, okay. So the three of you can roll either a athletics or a nature check. Or if you have, well, right now you don't really have much in terms of tools. So you can either do athletics or nature to see how much resources you find.
Not perception.
This is more of like the physical activity of gathering resources, not just from whatever you could find in terms of the washed ashore, but also just from the area around the shore.
Okay, so you said athletics or nature?
Athletics or nature, yes.
I'm going to
Oh, that's a 15 for nature.
10
Okay.
for nature. I'll
Four.
use guidance on myself.
Okay.
So 12.
All right. So 12. And where is that? Okay. Sorry, this is the weird part of the module. All right, so 10, you find no resources. Ziri, you do find one resource that I will check what it is. And Zenbrick, you find 2 resources. Since you were looking in the coast, you do find, let's see, that was 3 total? Yeah, 3 resources. So we'll go with 1 food, 1 reed, and 1 water. Do you guys want me to give you a handout where you can keep track of like the stuff you find?
Yeah,
That's a good idea. Yeah.
All right. You will want to designate someone because if someone edits and then someone else edits and saves, it'll oversave. But there you go. So, who wants to keep track of things there?
I'll do it.
Okay.
all right.
So the 3 of you find 1 reed, 1 water, and 1 food in terms of supplies. What's your passive perceptions?
I'm 14.
15.
13.
Okay. Siri, during your time gathering stuff on the beach, you get the sense that you're being watched.
Okay.
You never spot anyone, so whoever it is really good at hiding, but you have this like sensation of being watched from the forest as you all work to gather things on the beach.
Okay. I'll mention, it doesn't feel like we're alone out here. Can I see if there's like any newer footprints or anything on the beach as we're searching around?
No footprints on the beach besides those that you presume were the ones left behind by Tan, Ash, and Zen the day before.
Okay. Well, it was just the three of you all. Was it just the three of you all on that ship that came in?
Well, that washed up here, yes.
All right. How many were with you altogether?
I had a full crew, so besides the crew, you think maybe like a dozen and a half?
Maybe, 17, 20.
Okay. Well, we should keep an eye out for anybody else who may have made it either from your ship or ours.
And we got critters to watch out for too.
That's true.
I'm going to say that's why I find no resources as I spend the rest of the time being paranoid and jumpy.
Nice.
Just any movement. Nope, that's the
Just,
wind.
like, not even really looking for anything, just like glancing over my shoulder every 2 seconds.
All right. And you head back towards the end of the day, having recovered not much in terms of, you find that whatever happened to the ship, it doesn't seem to have gotten to the island itself, but at least you managed to find some food, water, and reeds to help build things.
Okay.
All right, so Ash and Copper, you were exploring.
Yep.
So we are gonna go, not just me, drag the players with me to the big map. All right, so what kind of pace are you guys looking to travel today?
Considering we don't have a lot of resources right now, I don't want to use up too much energy, because that'll just fuck me over in the next few days.
Okay.
So maybe a slow to maybe a normal pace, but
The main difference between slow and normal is slow, you're taking it stealthily so you can avoid being like spotted by possible creatures. Normal pace, you're just going like normally and not trying necessarily to be stealthy.
considering we're near the ship that apparently was carrying a lot of weird creatures, maybe we should go slowly? What do you say, Copper?
You're
You're
muted.
muted.
If that's what you prefer, that's fine.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So slow means you can cover about 3 hexes a day.
Okay.
Which hex around the camp are you starting with?
Maybe start with this one. Sure. And then
Yeah,
we can
that's
just
fine.
slowly start circling around.
Yep. To see where things are going.
Yeah. Slowly expand what we know our territory is,
Mm-hmm.
but know what's around us before we spread out.
And who knows, we might even be able to find either water or some other useful thing that we could have people gather later.
That works.
Okay. Who's going to be the navigator?
Not me. Unless...
I can attempt.
Yeah, I mean, I can aid, but it's more watching.
It's a survival check.
Oh, yeah, I can do that.
Okay. So I get to do your survival check because you don't get to know what it is as you navigate this forest.
For show's knowledge, I do have a +4 to survival. I'm proficient.
Good. I have a +0.
Okay, cool. Wait, Carter's rolling for us? Oh, fuck.
Fuck me.
Oh.
We should have a guest roller just so that it wouldn't be Karu.
Nope, I already rolled it, so it's fine. All right, so you navigate into the forest and reveal a square. Well, I call it a square. It's actually a hex.
As we go, could I just, like, make a mark on passing trees or something so that we have something that we could notice on our way back to try and, like, make it a little easier to find our way back?
Sure, you can do that.
Okay.
How are you leaving the mark? Just like with your hand? Or just
Yeah,
scratching
I
it?
suppose I'm just... Well, because I've got gauntlets on, I guess that they'd have almost a point, but not quite.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd just,
And
like, leave a little,
kind of like scratching them.
like, kind of a gouge or something.
Okay.
I'm strong enough, I could do it.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you travel the first hex and you notice that the forest area here has quite a lot of wood and reeds and a bit of water here and there, mostly like little small ponds, maybe a river, a bit of a trickle that could be used to gather water.
Mm-hmm.
You continue up north and still no. It's about the same. Find more forest. Looks like this place has a lot of forest.
I mean, that makes sense.
Why?
And luckily, you managed to not get lost during the day.
Cool.
And I'm assuming you kind of traveled backwards and around and back to the camp by the end of the day.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so now you have explored 3 more hexes around you and found that there is plenty of wood, reeds, and enough water, though it takes a bit of travel to find water around.
Mm-hmm.
But if need be, for now, we have a water source we can collect from. Just takes a while.
All right, so now I get to check if you find anything else.
Ooh.
Or if anything else finds us.
I mean, I'd be down for punching something.
All right, so you start out in the morning and close to the camp, about like 2 hours after you leave camp, you hear a chittering of multiple small creatures heading in your direction.
Oh? So, should we approach? Or should we try to avoid? It's possible they could be small game. I don't know what you people eat.
Honestly, we'll eat about anything. I'll be real here. I mean, luckily we haven't been very noisy, so we could kind of hide and see what they are. If they happen to be something we can eat, well then, pew pew, take them out and bring them back.
Okay. So you both like find sufficient bushes to hide in and see what this is.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So you both take cover, and a moment later you see a swarm of giant rats just crossing the underbrush. And you count like there is more than a dozen of these things just running across the bottom, and some of them like swarming up a tree and then going back down.
I'm not getting the attention of a swarm of rats. I'm just gonna wait until they pass, because that would kill us.
I mean, I'm not going to approach if Ash doesn't.
All right. So both of you keep very, very quiet as these 14 giant rats just parade past. You're like, they'd be plump and yummy to eat if you survive.
If there was one or two, oh yes, I would be targeting them. But we are severely outnumbered. I don't want to be rat food.
That's okay.
But now we know there are rats here. We just have to be prepared for them.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that's the only encounter you run into during the day.
Okay.
As you explore, and you make it back to camp as the sun is heading down, and your companions are coming back from the beach, arms full to the brim with the stuff that they gathered. We have to see what those other NPCs gathered. They were gathering resources near your
Near
the
the
ship.
ship
From
today.
the ship, yeah.
Yep, from the crash site.
Salvaging the ship.
Okay.
Can I
Let's
just
see how
say,
this
Karu,
goes.
it's amusing we have this game today when I've been playing this War of Mine constantly for the
That was
last few
basically
days.
the same thing.
At least you're in the right mindset.
It's true.
He's not trained in athletics, huh?
Most of these guys don't have necessarily training in things. Um, all right, let's see how much they find. So that's going to be 1, 3.
Is there one more who's doing it? Or was it just those two?
It was where Orner's whispered.
Ah.
Just gotta roll one more thing here. Okay. All right. So, the group that was gathering resources from the ship do end up finding a couple of barrels and serviceable pots and pans to cook with. They bring it back to where the makeshift lean-to is, and Irune also managed to find a crate with some of the food supplies that were on the ship that was serviceable as well. So that's another food and wood and 2 wood. So 1 food and 2 wood for the list of resources that you have.
Okay. One food, 2 wood.
And the 2 that were building the hut. Let's see how they did. So many sheets. Wow.
I don't think they're going to be building anything again, guys.
Apparently not.
For those listening, that's a 13 and a 10.
You know, I just realized that the building does not have what the DC is.
Hmm.
Let me double check my PDF. I think they just missed that.
Well, that's one thing to point out.
Yep. Yeah, it doesn't really give me a DC for building stuff. Great. I guess I make that up.
We are level 2.
Oh, I know. Right, so they used most of the rope and kind of ruined some parts of what they were building. Possibly made a couple of holes where to put things in, and your lean-to now has a couple of holes.
Well, that's where they're sleeping.
Well, you two are fired from shelter making. Good job.
Well, we tried. We're crewmen on a ship, not builders.
Did you not have a carpenter on the ship, or are they dead?
Yes.
Is that a yes to both? A yes to one?
To both.
Oh, okay. Well, at least that person's problems are over.
Did you not know how to tie a rope and raise a sail?
The ropes are tied perfectly fine. They just weren't able to make the lean-to any sturdier.
Well, we spotted a horde of rats while we were going around. There were a lot, over a dozen.
14.
I don't know how you counted those that quickly, but cool.
Small ones?
Big ones.
Big ones.
Ooh.
So, would be delicious to cook, but 2 of us can't really take down 14 rats without, becoming the food ourselves. Well, I would. I don't know about Copper.
I would become scrap.
Yeah, it
Maybe
sounds
we
like
could
a
use your
full.
parts for something.
Ash.
I'm just pointing out.
And if you died, maybe you'd be food.
I mean, yes. For something.
So it sounds like rat hunting is going to be a full group effort if we wanted to do that.
Yeah.
There was also a lot of wood around, and a fair bit of reed and some water.
Okay.
Maybe we should do that tomorrow.
Yeah,
Sending at
hunt
least a
gather
couple
resources.
people for that would be a good idea.
Agreed. We should also send a couple people to continue exploring a bit, see what we find.
That sounds like a good idea. We'll have to figure out who can actually build things so that we can make use of the resources we found as well.
What
Just
about
like
gnome?
glances at the 2.
Yeah, how
What
about we
about the gnome?
switch them out? They can do resource collecting. How about,
What? Hey, no. What's your name again?
Orner.
Orner. Can you build stuff? You said you were useful.
Yeah, I can build stuff.
Cool, you'll fix the shelter tomorrow.
Great. I can do that.
And perhaps put together some tools to make it easier to do so.
Yeah, I can work on that. I'll see what I can do.
So does the shelter attempt consume like the resources we found?
They were using the resources you had, which was the bit of rope and canvas you had recovered the day before. So it doesn't affect the resources you had.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna look at the others and tilt my head. You said that you found cages. Perhaps they could be used as some sort of structure to reinforce the shelter that we'd need.
That's a good idea.
They'd be sturdy walls.
Or at least a framework that you could tie the canvas to.
Assuming you find cages big enough. Most of the cages that
Assuming.
were up top were
Fair.
at most maybe 5 feet tall.
At the very least, you could use them as as said, a framework. Stack them on top of each other, maybe, or do something.
Or even
I'm
just
gonna
use to store the stuff we collect. If we can find some canvas, we can store wood inside one of them. Because you don't want what wood we're going to need for, say, burning to get soaked.
And it's
That's
possible if we find ones that are broken, we could repurpose the metal in them for other things.
We can use the barrels for holding water in the meantime.
Okay. Well, yeah, we have to put some of the canvas inside the barrels because they're not watertight. But you make do with at least keeping the water that you've managed to gather so far.
What is considered a stone? Like just a rock we find,
Rock.
or
More like a large quantity of rocks or stone gathered from there. But you haven't seen much in terms of stone material here in the forest area because most of the ground, despite what the map looks like, because that's just a map I found, it's mostly like moss and like peat, like it's spongy ground. So there's not much in terms of stone or rock in this area because of the forest. You didn't see any on the coast either.
Yeah, I was going to ask what kind of beach.
It
Was
was
that-
sand. Think
Okay.
like fine sand of
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask because there are some beaches that are actually
Yeah.
more rocky.
You could see like you even from the it's a bit harder to see from the camp, but you could see that there was a mountain to the north of where you guys landed.
But a likely ways away. Would it be like more than a day's travel?
Depends on your pace.
I wonder, well, I wasn't around at the coast when anybody came from the water. Did they happen to notice, say, a reef? Or were you too busy trying to, I don't know, get to land?
I remember washing up on the beach.
Unfortunate.
Maybe we should just get some rest for now. And go back to collecting shit tomorrow.
first watch?
Second.
I'll take the second again.
I'll do third.
Okay.
I'll do
You
third
all
as well.
settle down for the night with well, you've found food now, but most of you have eaten good berries for the day, so you can at least save your food for the next day. And you all take a rest and okay. Again, it almost seems like this island has a weird weather pattern where as soon as the sunset starts to set, clouds gather and cover the island. And during the night, you do not see any stars. Luckily, again, it seems a bit thicker than the night before, but it doesn't look like a storm's brewing at least, and you all have a dry night. Well, as dry as it can get in subtropical humid weather. And wake up the next morning a bit hungry and ready to do whatever you guys want to.
Are we able to tell like when the clouds are gathering over, if there's a certain direction either they're coming from or that they're seem to be covering more of in the area?
It seems to come from the mountains. So from the north, it tends to like crawl over from the mountains towards the camp area and then past. And then in the morning, it all kind of clears towards the mountains. So the first areas that seem clear, especially of that like morning fog that you're starting to think is probably just a feature of the island, tends to recede first from the coast towards the mountain.
Okay.
But about an hour after sunrise, the mist is basically gone.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just an early morning before the sun is up. It's kind of misty and hard to see. You get the feeling it's probably not entirely a good idea to get caught out in there, or at least move when the fog is around. But at least it only seems for now to have clung during the early hours of morning.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just say it's convenient? Both nights we've been here since becoming lost and we have no idea where we are. We can't see the stars to, you know, try and get a guess of our location.
Yep.
More inconvenient, I'd say.
Sarcasm isn't your strong point, is it?
I guess not.
Okay, fantastic. Good to know.
Well,
Hey,
folks, what are we doing today?
I say the two who mucked up the tent, gather resources. Also, I almost got a spick take, and I'm so sad. And maybe our gnome friend work on correcting said mistakes.
Where are you going to have those two gather resources? Do you think that they should try and go back towards the coastal line and see if they can pick up any of those cages?
I think water and even wood are higher priority than the cages right now.
Oh.
Well, you said there was rats that way, though, right?
That is true.
Maybe we all should kind of go and we could get resources. We might have to kill rats. And then there's water.
Potentially hunt.
Yeah.
So maybe we hunt while they gather resources, but we're there to back them up if things happen.
Mm-hmm. And maybe Haku could help with the heavy lifting in the building. Potentially.
That is
and
true.
And also keep an eye.
Maybe keep Tohaku with our gnome buddy for now.
Mm-hmm.
He can at least lift things and move things around to make sure
he doesn't throw out his back.
Yeah.
He's an elderly gnome.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not sure if he's acting. He's like
age
acting up the whole age thing.
I don't know about with the rest of you, but age doesn't degrade necessarily. So I absolutely do not believe that he's
like 250 years old. What do you want?
Well, that's what he says.
Yeah, I'm an automaton. I'm probably almost as old as him from my model number.
But maybe some of us do hunting and some of us do
I think it's like almost like a group, like they're gathering resources, we're looking out for those rats, because those rats food and hide and bones for stuff.
Yeah, I think we want to try and find those rats. There's a lot of rats. They have to have a pretty decent path.
Okay.
And maybe what's her name? Hold on, Ifune. Maybe she could work on making some of the barrels watertight with the canvas, because that would seem to be a priority for you guys.
Yes,
okay,
well,
so joining the building.
Needs to drink.
I'd rather not rush, thank you. Even if I am resistant.
But the 5 of us be more of a hunting party, but we'll still be going to the same squares as the resourcers.
Okay. In terms of effort, you guys will be hunting.
Hunting, yes. But just
but same tile
Yeah.
as. I will point out that I'll put you guys back on the Skeleton Island map. The hex that you guys had seen the cages in was to the south, and the rats were found in the one just to the east of that.
We did say that the priority was going to be the rats and wood and that, like, so cages would not be as necessary.
So you're going for... Alright, so you're just going
for that other
wood
hex for now.
Okay. Alright. So all of you are heading for the same hex with different priorities in mind. All right.
I mean, it makes sense so that we don't split the group too much. In case something
so we need
does
to see
happen.
if these guys are useful for anything.
I mean,
everyone's got skills.
We just have to find what theirs are.
Yeah, even if it's just that they're a little bit chubbier.
Hey, chubby's not an indicator of anything.
I just presumed that it would be more meat.
Okay, when you're hunting something, yes, but in question of somebody being chubby not being able to do anything.
I don't think he gets it. He's made of they're made of metal.
Yes, perhaps I'm also not so great at explaining my point. I'm just gonna keep moving.
Anyways, let's find those rats.
At some point, as I walk past Copper while we're traveling, he gets an inadvertent whack with my tail.
What?
Oh, sorry. Like I said, I take up a lot of space there. Sorry about that.
I'm gonna tilt my head and insight that to see if it had any particular purpose in mind. 11.
I mean, Ziri overheard the chubby comments. So.
Alright, so the way the hunting works... This is going to be interesting, especially since all 5 of you are going together. Alright.
It's a lot of rats.
It's true. So first of all, I need you guys to give me either a nature or a survival check.
Ooh, I can do nature.
Do each of us do one?
Yeah, this is what's called a group check, so basically if more of you succeed than fail, then you succeed.
That's a 23 survival.
13.
I got a 12.
I'll use guidance on Tan.
Thanks. That's an 8.
Okay. So that's...
I'm suddenly really glad I trained survival. I normally don't.
Alright, now you guys need to give me a perception check for finding your quarry.
Ooh.
Damn!
Man.
13.
18.
13.
10.
25.
Alright. And finally, I need an attack roll with whatever you're using to hunt down this creature.
18 with my dagger.
21 with my fists.
16 with Eldritch Blast.
16 with Guiding Bolt.
12 with my hand axe.
Alright. Interesting.
You can tell who's melee and who's magic. Fist, dagger, hand axe, Eldritch Blast, Guiding Bolt.
Alright, so after a long day of hunting down rats, you guys end up with 5 pounds of rat meat and 1 unit of hide in terms of resources.
That's pretty good.
And
Now
I
that-
believe
Does
Sorry?
that count as like 1 food or 2 food or?
I wanted to look that up because I'm pretty sure
Doesn't
there's
say.
somewhere in here it says that, but I'm gonna have to look that up.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I had thought of that earlier. I was like, how much is 1 gallon of water? Is that 1 water or is I know I saw it somewhere and then I'm gonna have to double check that.
Is there any way for us to use the bones?
Not quite, especially because these were small creatures.
That just means we have to hunt bigger creatures.
We'll get there.
Food and water. No. Sleep. Could have sworn I saw it somewhere. Okay, found it. 1 food resource counts as 1 pound of food, and 1 water resource counts as 1 gallon.
Nice.
There we go.
Man, we
So-
need a lot of water.
Yes, you need a lot of water to survive. That is more important than food, especially when you have a druid in the party.
I mean, technically speaking, can't he create water?
I can. I mean, my plan is, essentially, end of the day, burn any spell slots I have on, create water or good berry.
Once the barrel are ready.
Yeah.
Exactly. Once we have something to put it in, otherwise, just 10 gallons all over.
Yeah. All right. So, well, at least you have 5 food resource now. So that's 5 pounds of food, plus whatever you had found. I think you had found 1 pound the day before. Let's see how the builders do today. Luckily, you have people who have a bit more intelligence working on things today.
That's not saying much.
I mean, no.
Doesn't mean that he has more wisdom.
Oh, it's an intelligence check.
Oh, I know. But I'm just saying, just because somebody's smart doesn't mean that they're wise.
And then you have
Uh,
people who are
yeah.
kind of, both. Like, Ash talks big. She's
How
not
did
very
he-
smart.
Also,
And then did the 2 who went for resources, like when we were rat hunting, did they find like stuff?
I'll double check on that. I'm just doing the building first. Oh.
uh-oh.
30. Okay, so that's good. And then okay. All right, so I did okay. So we have all right. When you guys reached back to the camp area, you have a proper shelter.
Hey, you did it.
With the help of all 3 of them working together, they have managed to correctly build a shelter out of the resources you had gathered, and I believe that is listed on here in the building project. So it used 1 reed and 2 wood for the shelter.
Okay.
And they've waterproofed 2 barrels.
Oh, nice.
Excellent.
All right, let's see how the gathering resources went by.
Are you fucking kidding? I mean, they've got one more chance, right?
At what point do we just cut the dead weight?
Oh,
I mean,
on.
they probably have a lot of units of food.
Well,
7 and an 8.
okay, let me just double check something.
It's not every day people get stranded on an island.
Are
It's
you
true.
kidding?
Oh.
Did he just? Oh my god, he got injured.
All right, so
No.
you all head back to the camp, and it takes a while for the two Dinzers that had gone with you to the same area, but like they were spreading out and you guys were concentrated on hunting, so they eventually come back when it's starting to get dark and you guys are already starting to think of maybe we should send someone out looking for them. They come back empty-handed, and Caeora looks like he had a accident. He's limping and leaning on Ivoxar. And yeah, they didn't do that great. He kind of sits down and goes, well, I thought we had it was a really nice looking branch and everything, but when we were trying to pull it out, ground gave way underneath us and there was a bit of a landslide, and well, I twisted my ankle.
Good job.
Right? You came back. It's all
You
that
came
matters.
Darn.
How about you just stay in camp from now on?
Keep an eye on things.
Maybe just follow instructions.
They've been doing that for 2 days. They haven't been doing it well.
No resources gathered there. Also, while you were hunting, Ziri, again, you felt like someone was watching you.
Okay.
Creepy.
I'll mention this again. Yeah, I definitely think there's somebody else. There's somebody else here besides us. Maybe we should.
Or something.
Hard to tell.
Do you know which direction you're sensing it from?
Am I able to pick up like a specific place it's coming from?
It was just a general feeling of being watched, so it was kind of hard to tell. And since you weren't on the beach this time, it was you were in the middle of the forest, so it was harder to tell which direction it felt like. Before it was like, well, the beach is clear, you can't see anything, so it likely was coming from the forest, but now you're in the forest, so.
Yeah, it seems to just kind of generally be following us wherever we seem to go.
Do you think it's watching our camp then?
That's a possibility.
Alright, I'll keep an eye out for it tonight. Maybe it'll show up
Yep.
when it's darkest.
Do we have any extra rope left, or have we used it all up at this point?
I think by now, especially now that you've made your proper shelter, you're out of rope.
Okay. Which means I can't cast Snare. Alright. But yeah, we should keep an eye out, special eye out tonight.
I can do that.
Say watch order?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd just rather do my watch when it's darkest.
Okay. All right, so you guys are keeping watch a bit more than normal this time because of that uneasy feeling of someone's watching you. So, why don't you all, those of you keeping watch, give me a perception check.
Eh. I don't see anything this time.
17.
I can see
Poison hands.
perfectly in darkness. I just don't see anything.
Yeah, whatever's out there is keeping well away, and you don't really see anything during your watch. Copper, at one point you feel like you see something move, but you don't see what it is. You just like hear the brush move, and it's like, well, maybe it's just a creature. You definitely know there's at least rats.
Yep.
Since it's a new day, I'll try an augury just to see if I can determine whatever this presence is. Does it have good intentions for us or bad intentions?
Okay.
Smart.
Druids are so useful when you're
Yes.
on a desert island.
Uh-huh. They can create water, they can do good berries, they can do guesswork.
Also, were the
You get-
stars not out again?
Oh, I'm gonna double check on that in a second. You get no result. So nothing.
So it's completely neutral.
Okay. No stars again. If anything, the cloud cover seems thicker. And when morning comes, this time while the fog kind of dissipates, the cloud cover remains. So it's not as bright out today. You have cloud cover during the day.
Well, what do we want to do today?
Well, should we explore a bit more
A couple of us could.
and then gather more resources? We're going to need wood, probably, and things to make tools and that, like. And then we're going to need people who can actually make those tools.
How many gallons of water would the barrels hold?
About 5. One is 5 gallons, the other one's 10 gallons.
Okay, so like before long resting the night before, I would have wanted to cast create water just to basically fill those up.
So you've got 15 of water.
Nice.
It's probably not. Well, it's probably. You at least know it's safe to drink because it's magically
Magical.
created.
And if anything goes wrong, I can purify it.
I don't think you guys want to have distilled water. I think I've heard that's kind of bad for you.
So, I will admit, when it comes to gathering resources, I'm probably not going to be that useful. But, exploring the land and doing that, I can probably be more aid in.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
On the building projects handout, it says the hand axe forests produce double wood. So does that mean since I have a hand axe, if I were to go gather wood, I would get double the results?
Correct. Yes.
Ooh.
I'd probably go do that.
Okay. So you're gonna go on gathering resources.
As long as everybody's good with that.
Mm-hmm. You
I
have
think
the hand axe.
Yeah, that's sound. Ash, do you
Hmm?
want to continue exploring, or do you have something else you'd prefer?
Exploring is probably where I'm going to be able to assist most.
I can do either. I kind of want to focus on gathering resources and try to find more reeds to make a healer's kit.
Then that would be a wise decision to make.
We can try exploring a bit closer to the beach area, see if we can...
Well, like around these hexes.
Yeah. Like those ones.
Sounds good.
Okay. What about the rest of your? I'll just put you guys on the camp.
And what about Zembrix? What do they want to do?
Zembrix doesn't like that there's something out there. I want to go with ash and copper, but then stealth away.
Like
And
shadow us?
yeah,
Okay. They would have to be stealthing as well to not leave you behind, though.
that's it's all right if I
Go slower, because then you'll be
yeah.
left on your own.
I mean, we could thoroughly investigate as we explore.
I mean, I'll point out, Zen is a ranger. I think if anyone, they're going to be the most likely to survive on their own in a forest.
That's a good point.
That's right. So I'm a ranger.
So if they fall behind, they're more hunting for whatever keeps an eye on us, and we're exploring the land. Just
Okay.
make sure to come back to camp by nighttime.
I will.
Okay, so you're planning to have Copper and Ash go at a normal pace with Zembrix starting out with them, but keeping it a slower, stealthier pace behind them. Okay, sounds good. What about what about the other 5? What do you want them to do?
I have one suggestion. We did get one hide. Do we maybe want to have a backpack be made that would assist in gathering resources later on?
I agree.
Yeah, good idea.
Okay. So who are you going to have building that? It doesn't have to be more than one person necessarily. You can have multiple projects going on. You can also send them out exploring in another direction if you wanted to cover more hexes.
Well, we definitely need to keep one with the gnome.
Yeah, and we have one person injured. I think the injured person today should maybe just rest.
Yeah.
Okay. Arune does suggest that she can stay behind to work on one of the building projects at least.
Okay.
And it seems like Orner was at least good at that with her.
Yeah. So maybe Orner and Arun stay behind building stuff, and maybe Tohaku and the other guy explore a bit farther the other direction.
That
The second
good.
exploring group. Okay. All right. So Orner and Arune are working on the backpack, you said?
Unless anyone else has a suggestion.
Nope, we don't have any resources that we could be making other things at the moment.
True.
So, honestly, at this point, exploration and gathering are the 2 things that we need to do the most of.
Yeah. And maybe if we can find today with exploration, say, reeds, then the next day we can send someone with the backpack to collect a bunch of those. Because the healer kit is going to be really damn useful, and we can make rope with that.
That's true. We did find in some of the other hexes, there were some reeds as well as wood and a bit of water.
That was where we did the hunting, right?
That was around the area, either that one or the next hex up that we did the hunting in.
So how many people are exploring?
You have 2 groups exploring. Well, technically 3, since Zembrix is heading out on their own. But it's okay, because they're great at survival.
They're a ranger, so they'll be fine.
Yeah. You've heard rangers can't get lost. It's just something they do.
And they also... should be able to keep up, because don't they know how to navigate places?
Don't worry. They're looking for something.
Yeah.
I'm just tracking, because exploring uses food and water, so I'm just trying to track how many people are doing all that.
Yeah, so what map are you guys on? Yeah. So I've already placed everyone. So you have exploration, you've got 5 people exploring, 2 people gathering resources, 2 building, and 1 resting.
Okay, so that will put us at 9 gallons of water.
You do know that you are keeping track that I don't have to eat or drink, right?
Oh, that is true.
Oh,
I'm,
right.
I'm Warforged, so I don't expend those resources.
Okay. So 10 and 4. Okay.
All right, so I will put you guys back on the map in a second
Okay.
for the explorers. Because I wasn't looking at that one when you guys were talking about where you wanted to head. All right, so which hex were you starting with?
The one southwest, I believe, of us, of our camp, towards the coast. And then we could have the second group do the one northwest.
Well, remember you can do, if you're going at a normal pace, then you have 4 hexes you can cover. And you do want to make sure that you can get back to the camp within that time frame. Unless you can stay out the night, but that means
would be unwise.
Yeah.
It'd be unwise to split up at night. But I mean, we could have our group go this way and the other group go that way. So we could uncover 2 hexes there.
I mean, or you could send them towards the mountains to the north.
That's what I was thinking. We're gonna need stone, so maybe have them go up to here and explore like these 2, and then they can head back.
All right. I mean, if they do 4, well, yeah, because they have to cross the one hex. Okay. All right. So, I have to roll for them. Who was that?
It was Haku and other one, uninjured one, the thug.
Let's see who's the better navigator. All right, Haku.
And before they went out, I would have told them to mark their path. Because it would be a little easier if they had some way of recognizing where they've been to come back.
All right, so they head north. You guys start heading there. Which direction were you planning to do? A loop?
Yeah, a loop because we want to get to the beach as well. So 1, 2.
So you're going 3.
That won't get us back. 1, 2. Yeah, any way we go, because it's only 4 squares, Kari?
4 squares, yeah. Unless you go fast pace.
But then we probably would either miss something or get exhausted.
Fast pace just is a minus to perception. So, so 1, 2. Damn it.
Well, because remember, we could just... I know we can uncover 4, but we might want to just uncover 2 and come back.
Well, that's what I'm trying to find is just 2 to uncover. Okay, we can do that.
Well, because remember, this is the one that we haven't uncovered yet. She just did that one because that's the one where we're starting at.
Yeah, that's the starting that you said you were.
But we could do this.
Or you could do... Yeah, or you could do like 2 that way, 2 out and 2, and then just come back.
Yeah.
That only gets you 2.
But the diamond I just made is 4 hexes, so we could uncover those.
So you could just start there and then go around.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. All right. And
survival?
Oh, I already rolled survivor.
Yeah.
Right,
Survivor.
you have to roll it.
Survival.
And as we're going as usual,
rolls?
as we're going as usual, I'm marking.
Yeah. Do I roll stealth?
As long as you're traveling at a slow pace, unless something happens, I'm not gonna require stealth rolls. You're just traveling at a shorter.
Yeah, I want to see if I can find evidence of what could be looking at us. Yes.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. All right, so you all start out together, but since Zembrix is hiding, after the first hour or so, you have left them behind, You're not sure where they are, but they're going to have to do a smaller curve because they can only do 2 hexes and then go back. So you all start, the 2 of you keep going and uncover the next hex. That is not the uncover tool. This is the uncover tool. You find more forest, and at the very, very tip of the northern area, you do hear the sound of crashing waves.
Northern? This way?
Waves, so not like
Not
like waterfall
river.
or anything like. Okay.
No, waves.
Huh.
Do you want to go the way that you were expecting to go back towards the camp, or are you going to go in the direction that you hear the...
This way, because we still need to get back to camp. It
Okay.
would be unwise to deviate at this point.
I'm tempted to go farther north, but...
But then we'd be stranded out here and away from camp.
Yeah, but... So?
Proper protocol. Besides, we didn't mention to the others that we might stay out. Deviation is not wise.
Whatever.
By the way, I'm lawful, if you couldn't tell.
Oh, I can absolutely tell.
Lawful practical.
I mean, my programming is very logical, except the fact that now I'm kind of self-aware and I don't know why.
Yeah, no one does. Good luck having no person try and take you apart at any point.
They try and take me apart and I'll return the favor.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you make it back after exploring everything. Zembrix, you go out and are pretty sure you know the direction you're heading in.
Uh-huh.
And you're just keeping an eye out for things. Give me a perception check.
Shit.
An eye.
All right. You...
Wait. Did I roll a 1?
No, that was a 5.
Okay. It was a 5. Okay.
Do you have halfling luck?
Uh-huh. That's why I was asking, but...
Let me double check your sheet. Yeah, you have halfling luck selected, so
Yeah.
the sheet itself will re-roll if you roll a 1.
Okay.
It'll do that automatically. All right, so you head out and you're trying your best to keep track of both where you are and what the heck is out here. And you're not doing great on either side. You're pretty sure you're still west of the camp, you think.
Uh-oh.
During the evening, you're trying your best to figure out where the camp is, but you're honestly not sure where you are. And then you see, for 1 second, you think you see something out of the corner of your eye, but you look again and you don't see anything. But then when you go, because, I mean, you're looking for this thing and you want to know what's going on here. So you go in the direction that you saw the movement from, trying to peer around. And on the ground, you see a couple of branches placed in a very deliberate, like, arrow position.
Which way are they pointing?
It seems to be pointing in what you think, because of the mountains, to go to your east.
Oh. There's nothing I can roll. See if I trust this arrow, is there?
Kind of hard to insight an arrow
Yeah.
on the ground.
Yeah, it is. Mhm. You know what? I'm going to go that way.
Okay, you're
That-
gonna follow
that's
the arrow.
Yeah, but I'm still sneaky about it.
Okay, you follow the arrow, and just as night begins to fall, you break through the forest and find that you're back at the camp. And you hear the rest of the two that were also exploring seem to be coming out of the forest from a bit northern direction from where you were.
Yeah. Sorry, everyone. I haven't been able to find what it is. Not yet.
All right, so that's I have to deal with the two going north. They do not get lost. And they were going 1, 2, 3, and then back. So they uncovered a shit ton more forest.
I mean, I figured as much.
Yep. Now, let's see how the two construction workers do. And I need... Okay. Yeah, so you all arrive back at the camp. I'm missing the gathering resources group.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So which hex were you guys crawling for that? This one, right?
Yeah, the one where a lot of the reeds were that way or this
Okay.
way. One of those two.
Okay. Exploration, building, gathering resources. All right, so both of you give me either athletics or nature.
12 for me.
20 for me.
Nice.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you find 3 resources in a forest tile. So, and you guys were concentrating on wood and reeds, right?
Yes, because I have that hand axe.
And you had the hand axe. Excellent. So that means you end up at the end of the day with 2 wood and 2 reeds worth of materials.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's why it's 2 wood instead of 1. All right. And you all head back to the camp at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
You now have a backpack, which means you can carry more things and have explored a bit more of the island and found a bunch of forest.
Yep.
So much goddamn forest. How did this ship land in the one clear goddamn spot of this forest?
DM discretion.
Yep.
Story discretion.
I mean, it's the same thing at this point.
Alright, well. Oh boy. I mean, does our buddy druid by chance have a create water in there.
Yeah, I'll use basically I'll create water in Goodberry just to kind of top off just food and water resources for the day.
Thank
Since we
you.
didn't hunt or get. So.
You got to eat a good berry the same day it's made, right?
Yeah, it's 24 hours.
But hey, we can go to bed full.
Yeah.
And did you find the person who's been kind of sort of stalking / following us?
No. I think I might have saw something, but it was getting a little late.
All
I didn't want
right.
y'all to worry about me.
Mhm.
I
Okay.
think I might try. Think I might try again tomorrow.
All right.
I think I'll go with Zen tomorrow. I've got something I want to try.
So, Ziri, why are we on that airship? I mean, we're here. We got to entertain ourselves somehow, so might as well start calling ourselves besides like Druid or Eldritch Blast person.
But that requires getting emotionally attached to people.
Oh, we're just finding out stuff.
It's kind of a funny thing. So, I don't know if anybody's been to Orbea. That's where I came from. That's where I've been living for a while. Actually worked as an astronomy tower there. And actually one night not too long ago, I had a bit of a vision when I was doing some star watching. I saw several comets all traveling. That they all appeared to be far off their normal course. And one larger comet kind of sweeping them into orbit and guiding them on a path through the stars, and kind of took that as a sign that I was supposed to set out and, I don't know, be of help to some group of people somewhere. And I would be somewhere sort of responsible for making sure they all get to where they're supposed to be going. There was an extra little bit about another comet kind of falling out of the sky. I didn't think was connected, but well, maybe that seems to be a little too tied together.
I haven't really. You're a druid?
Yeah.
I know not all druids are the same. Not all druids are the same. I haven't met one has a vision though.
Well, my talent's kind of in star watching and kind of determining kind of what messages the stars can give us and what guidance they can provide.
Oh, you must be going a little bit like bonkers because there's no stars at night.
Yeah, it's definitely been disconcerting. Certainly, we eager to get that connection back, and if nothing else, try to figure out where in the world we are. And maybe see what more everything kind of has in store for each of us. How about you? What you were on a ship. What brought you out this way?
Work. I'm a simple elf. You know, gotta make way, and eventually you gotta leave and earn your own way, learn about the world. I mean, I could have stayed, got a job, but I just, I wanted to see what was out there. Earn my keep that way.
Was there something on this island you were supposed to find or bring back?
We were just told there's work. It paid well. Got to go in a boat. Normally you got to pay to go on a boat, but this time I was getting paid to go on the boat. So I was like, why not?
Sounds fun. I mean, that was never been on boats myself. In fact, that this was the first time I'm in any kind of airship. Well, might be the last time, based on how things turned out. My mother's always said, you know, if your first crack at doing something goes horribly wrong, maybe that's a sign not to do it again.
Tan, what about you?
Pretty much the same story. Looking for work, found work, and then ended up here, really.
So I'm an elf and a ranger. You're a so Zir, you're a furbog.
Mhm. Yep.
I'm sorry. You were the first one I met. I'm probably not the first elf you've met, but
I've met plenty of elves.
yeah.
Most people don't meet that many furbolgs, though. We tend to keep to ourselves. I said I came from Orbay. I didn't start there. I big extended family that lived up in the forests north of the Basilisk Spine. We had to leave that after a while.
So Tan, you're a what again?
Halfling fighter.
Oh, a halfling fighter.
But the furbog, like, yeah, I don't see a whole lot of you.
How tall is Zenbrix?
4 feet. I know I'm short for an elf. I don't need to hear it. How tall is Tan?
And is like 3'1", like not very tall.
Ash,
Yes.
what about you?
What about me do you want to know?
So you said you Eldritch Blast. So
I'm a warlock. Also, by the way, those people watching, yes, I know the overlay says sorcerer. I just realized that Carter fucked up. That'll be fixed for episode 2. But yes, I'm a warlock.
so did the thing come to you, or did you like search it out? Because I've met a couple of warlocks. Sometimes they're like in great pursuit of something, or sometimes the thing comes to them.
I don't know if I went to them or they came to me. Considering how I got my abilities, I think an argument could be made for either one of those options. It was... Let's just say magic went awry, and it was probably me becoming a warlock that kept me alive. So maybe I called out for help and someone answered. Maybe someone decided to help me. I really don't know. It's up in the air. Matter of perspective, probably.
Well, glad it happened, so we can have your sunshine personality here with us.
I can assure you I have never heard sunshine used to describe me in my life.
And what race are you again?
I'm a half-elf.
Cop.
I have to admit it's interesting that I grew up with my elven family, so you seem off, but I'm guessing it's just more different territory we grew up in.
Yep. Not all elves are the same.
That is very true.
Just like not all halflings are the same.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Zeri, are all furbolgs the same, or you got differences?
Oh, I mean, there's a variety. Not all have, red hair. Some have green. Some have. I heard of one tribe that has all pink hair.
Well, that's going to stick out in the crowd.
That's fascinating. I would love to meet, like, every kind of furbolg with every different color of hair. Like, if you were able to find, like, families with each different color of hair, could you make, like, a rainbow?
Probably could, yeah.
I kind of want to see that.
And y'all got tails?
Yeah.
Huh. I did not. Copper?
Show you're muted.
Yes?
What's up with you? I haven't met, what exactly, I mean...
I'm an automaton. Copper model, number 7119. I'm a bit out of date, but I survived, and it seems like the newer model did not.
Yeah. No.
So you're a self-aware tech thing? Person?
Maybe I don't. This has not happened before. I think I need to go through some serious debugging. But yeah.
How do you want to be referred? A person?
You can call me Copper.
Okay, Copper. Gotcha.
Haku actually speaks up at that as he's been listening to all your tales, and he goes, honestly, I have never seen one of these automatons start moving on their own. They usually either follow instructions or, well, this one, and he kind of like points up and down at Copper, goes, he's not even supposed to move on his own, technically. I mean, they do have autopilot functions, but generally it's someone who's piloting them, and that person indicates what the automaton does. Our captain was one of those, and I suspect Copper here was his backup in case the other one was broken down. They aren't supposed to move and think on their own like Copper is, so I don't know what happened there or how he came around.
I'll question it later. Now it's just fortuitous that I'm here.
I do have a question for Copper. You keep using one phrase, and I'm very confused by it. Do you have bugs living inside you that we should be concerned about?
It's programming directives. The reason that I follow instructions, follow orders, is because I was programmed to. I calculate risks. I follow the most logical response to a certain thing that has been presented to me based upon what I've been programmed to. But I'm not responding in the way that I've been programmed to. I haven't been since I booted up here.
Orner kind of speaks up at that and goes, I can help debug him.
I will rip your brain out through your nose if you come anywhere near me with that intent.
I've reprogrammed many an automaton before.
No.
I can get him working like he's supposed to and stop doing all those.
He's been assisting us, so I think he's working quite. They're working quite fine right now.
Yeah, but they're not supposed to even Have you heard him?
I'd like to aim a very, very vague swing at Orner. enough to scare him, but not to actually hurt him.
It's not natural. I would love to find out how he got, you know.
We'll
No.
worry about how they're like this later, but
It calls itself I. It has a sense of self. That's not normal.
to be fair, nothing about what's happened in the last couple of days I think can be considered normal for any of us. And if any of us consider being trapped on a deserted island normal, I am very concerned for them.
No. In fact, I've had this nagging feeling ever since we crashed and I left the lights on back in my tower. That's gonna be a problem.
Won't they just burn out?
Yeah, assuming the whole tower doesn't burn down first.
Well, that's a problem to whoever is there. Not yours currently.
Mm.
They'll deal with it. And if they don't, you'll deal with it later. And whatever bodies might be left behind.
Ash, are you just out of thing? Are you chaotic neutral?
No.
Just curious.
She just has a very dark sense of humor.
Yeah, okay.
It's just a really, really dark sense of humor.
Oh, I figured, but I didn't know if it went into like.
No.
I was just curious. So yeah.
No. She's not chaotic. She's honestly trying to be encouraging and lighten the mood. She's just really bad at it.
I love it. I love it.
Well, you all settle down for the night. To prepare yourselves for the next day.
And
You take your watches.
I'm also going to very quietly threaten the gnome again to say if he comes anywhere near me with any type of tool to try and take me apart, I will
Hey,
take him
I've been
apart.
nothing but helpful.
Stare. Crush another rock in hand.
You know, that's a waste of stone. I'm pointing that out.
I'm pretty sure that's not even rock. It's just a piece of clump of dirt that was really compact.
Oh, that's just sad.
If we had actual rocks.
It's more a pebble. All right, so you all settle down for the night. Keep watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Why don't the ones keeping watch give me perception checks?
Okay.
While I'm doing my watch, I'd like to use detect magic.
Okay.
Ooh, I got a nat 20.
I got a
15.
21.
I think we're getting
14.
tired of whoever is stalking us.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the order again? Zembrix was first.
Mm-hmm. Because I'm
Okay.
first watch. Yeah. Natural 20 for a total of 24.
Second watch, 21.
Second watch, 15.
Third watch, 14.
Third watch 9.
Okay. All right. So, Zenbrix, you're keeping watch at the beginning of the night. Everyone has already gone to bed. But you still have that nagging feeling of like, hey, you saw that thing on the ground. You know there's something out there that has been keeping watch on you. And you decide that maybe walking around isn't the best option. Just staying still and looking at the surrounding areas and the surrounding forest will do better. And about 2 hours into your watch, you're scanning the forest and you almost don't see it because they're standing perfectly still and they kind of blend into the surroundings. But you look again and you see what looks to be a female human, at least in appearance and height. She's a female, kind of standing almost statue still beside a tree. You can't really tell because it's dark anything about colors, but they're just staring towards the camp and standing there, unmoving.
I would. Am I alone? Am I the only one on first watch? I am, aren't I?
Yeah, you are.
I want to quietly and just like gently walk toward her.
Okay, give me a stealth check.
Well, I don't want to like surprise her. Oh, just so anybody else
Oh,
notices. I
well, are you trying
I
to like hide that you're walking towards her, or are you just like?
I don't want the others to know I'm walking towards her, but I want her to know that I am peacefully
Okay.
walking toward her. But the 23 stealth, or nobody hears me go.
Yeah, no. Everyone is sound asleep. They do not hear a thing. And as you start walking towards her, you can tell, just because you don't have dark vision either. So I'm assuming you guys have a bit of a fire going. Helps to keep creatures away, anyways. So that you have some light. Okay, I have that. And she's just watching you come forward. What languages do you speak?
Common, Elvish, Halfling, and Thieves' Cant.
Okay. You swear that, like, if it wasn't for the fact that you know that there were no statues around the camp, this was a statue, because it doesn't seem that she moves even as you come towards her, except for the fact that she is definitely looking at you, and that like sense of being watched is there. As you approach, she finally like tilts her head and says something in like a very sibilant language.
I don't know what it is.
It's not a language you speak.
I try Elvish, and I want to. Okay, I want to say Elvish. Oh, okay. I want to draw the arrow on the ground
Mm-hmm.
and point to it, and then basically sound I was in Elvish, but I'm not going to be like slow Elvish. I just going to be like this arrow, and then point to me, and I want to smile, and I just when it was like, and like sort of gesture, was that you?
She nods once, and that's all she does.
And I just want to put my and I just like, thank you, or is she gone?
Nope, she's still standing there.
I okay, so I take out the arrow and okay, I do like a little round thing, and I just like make a like gesture toward the whole camp,
Mm-hmm.
and I point in the circle like here, like this camp is here, and I sort of want to be like, and then like I saw the mountains, right?
Yeah, you know the
Okay,
mountains are to the north.
and then sort of like mountains and point toward the direction of the mountains, and then
Mm-hmm.
kind of do water and point in the direction of the water.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to look at her, and I'm just like, where
Okay.
you?
She looks down at your map on the earth. draws like the whole mountain range that heads towards like the south east of the camp. And then beyond the mountain, she like marks a place, and she marks it with like almost like an not quite an arrow, but like a pyramid shape.
And then I sort of like I say like us, me, if we like can we go there? Us, and then point to where she did, like if that's okay.
She says something again in the language, which you don't quite get, but it seems like there's a bit of an invitation in her tone, but also then a warning. And she points to she has at her side what looks to be a sword, but it's made of wood with like obsidian pieces on the sides. And she like puts that down on the ground and kind of like makes a crossing motion towards the weapon and then picks it back up and then points at you.
Wait, she puts the sword on the ground?
Yeah, she puts the sword on the ground and then makes like an X motion towards the sword and then points at you, and then she goes and picks her weapon up again.
Okay, so weapon, cross, no weapon. I'm gonna take my dagger, put it down on the ground, and do the same thing.
She nods. And then she turns and disappears into the forest.
All right, so it was the mountains southwest of the
Yeah,
camp?
so almost about the same distance that your camp is in, but more towards the southeast of the mountain range itself. So
Southeast of the mountain.
so if you guys were like there, she went like in that direction.
Oh, wow, so beyond.
Beyond the mountain, yeah.
Beyond the
She'll
mountain.
also just helpfully kind of sort of like make a line indicating more or less the shape of the island. And it's more or less kind of like a shape like almost like an oval slanted towards the south.
Okay. I scratch all of that. I mean, I memorize it. I'm gonna say I
Mhm.
memorize it. Okay, I memorize it. Oh, wait a minute. So I'm about to so about wait a minute, just like I'm about oh, wait. I wanna go and I wanna wake up. I'm gonna go over to Ziri and be like, gently wake him up and be like this.
Nods.
And then motion him and um because you mentioned something about stars and knowing direction. And I there is something here. I can't I can't describe her. She was like of the trees, but not of anyway, she's peaceful. And, look, I'll tell the others, but I got a little lost, and there was an arrow. I followed it, and I got back to camp. And she's the one that did it.
Okay.
This is the basic shape of the island. And I point out, like, where I said, like, where we were, and I went, "She's over here beyond the mountain." And there's and I tell you what happened about the
Okay.
pyramid and about how it's a language I don't understand, but if we are peaceful going, she'll be peaceful to us.
All right. Did she indicate like what's there or what's in this pyramid?
No, I couldn't understand her.
All right. Huh. Well, I mean that might be. It sounds like it's going to be a bit of a journey. It could take maybe several days, so that might take some time to prepare for.
Can you help me memorize this?
Sure.
I mean, I don't with the a syllabate sounding language.
Kind
I
of
don't know.
hissing basically, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any like large pieces of tree bark or anything like that that I could essentially use to try to, make a makeshift map of what's been drawn on the dirt? So we can just basically preserve this.
Sure. It's a bit hard in the darkness to find. You don't, fearbolgs don't have dark vision, dark night.
No, we don't. Let me look. I might actually.
I'll go
I don't
and
think I do
I'll
actually.
get like a little like light for us.
Okay,
So he
like
can
a makeshift torch.
yeah.
Okay.
So that way. I'm just like,
Does anyone have dark?
the
Oh, yeah.
actual the actual half elf.
Oh,
Um
let me light that up for you and cast produce flame and just,
okay.
All right. Yeah, with a bit of light, it's hard just because of the type of trees that are here, which is mostly like palm trees. But there are also eucalyptus trees, and from the eucalyptus you can probably like shear off a bit of the wood,
Okay.
and that would work.
Okay.
Does the Warforged have dark vision? No, they don't.
Nope.
Nope.
I double checked.
I really am the only one with dark vision.
Yep.
And mine's a weird dark vision.
It's just Siri, it's not it's just that we got some military people and we got that gnome. Do you understand? That's why I just right now us until we can maybe get the others, when we go exploring ourselves and maybe we can talk about it with them.
Okay.
Okay. It's not like I
think-
want to keep it from the other three. It's just from the others. Okay.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. You think if we do go, it might not. You'd be better off just taking, the 5 of us, leave the crew behind.
Yeah, because I think she could really take us if she wanted to.
Okay.
So, like, I think we got to be careful what we like chop down and kill.
All right.
All right. Well, and that probably marks where you have to wake up your next watch, which is, I believe, Copper and
Yeah, and then and then
Ash.
together we make sure.
All right. Well, the rest of the night passes uneventfully. However, the next morning, when you all wake up and go to check out the food, actually, Iruni is always the first one to check food because she's the cook. She's been cooking for you guys this whole time, and you hear her cry out in dismay. And it seems like during the night, you had a bit of a rat infestation. And you've lost most of your food, and you're not sure exactly what's going on. But you notice that a couple of the Dinzers look a bit pale, and one of them, who apparently had gotten up a bit early, it suddenly excuses himself, and you hear him throwing up behind a bush.
They didn't use the buddy system.
What?
We told him to do the buddy system.
What the hell happened?
What is he doing? Why is there things coming out of his mouth?
He's throwing up. I'm not explaining that to you. It's just bad.
Okay, how do you get him to stop? Do you put something in his mouth?
Honestly, you just let it happen.
I need all of you guys to give me a Constitution saving throw. Well, besides Copper.
15.
I got 11.
17.
Oh no.
11.
Wait, didn't we have the good berries last night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is this something else, Karu?
This is just in general because of the
Rat meat.
rats passing by.
Oh.
You also had to drink water, so.
Fair enough.
Okay. Zenbrix and Tan, you both are feeling kind of weird, off. The rest of you are fine.
Oh.
Are they supposed to be turning that color?
No, they aren't.
Unusual.
You get used to it.
I suppose. Usually when I change colors, that means that I have to service myself and make sure that I'm not rusting. Or tarnished.
Hey, Tan, and Zen.
Yeah.
How do you two feel about maybe staying at camp today and maybe just sitting down and making some rope? Maybe just sit and work.
So we should probably hunt. Others should probably hunt, right? Considering that it sounds like most of the food supply is gone. And, well, the water supply is tainted, probably, maybe.
Those rats don't like us.
I mean, to be fair, we killed quite a few of their buddies.
Yep.
We could go get revenge. They did offer hide. I think hunting
So,
in water
are we
should be our goals.
are we poisoned, or are we just not feeling
Yes.
well?
Zenbrix and Tan, you are poisoned for the day. So you have any checks you do are at a disadvantage. Irune kind of looks at you all. Is any of you like good with medicine?
I'm not proficient in it, but I have a decent skill number.
Do you wanna work with me and try and
Yeah, I
something
can.
to make
Yeah,
everyone feel better?
Yeah, I can work with you on that. I was asking you, is there any way I might be able to make like an herbalism kit?
Yeah. I need 3 checks from you to see how you do with this, and you'll have advantage because Aruna will be helping you.
Okay.
But that will be basically what you do during the day to kind of like resolve the infestation problem. So
Okay.
that'll keep you two from doing anything else.
Okay. And then I'll also do like a ritual casting of purify food and drink just to make sure that the water we do have stockpiled is
Okay.
not going to make anybody else sick.
All right. I'll actually count that as 1 success for one of the 3 checks because
Okay.
it was cook. All right. So the other 2 I need is a medicine check and a nature check.
Okay. Medicine. Natural 20. Nature,
Almost got a spit take.
18.
All right.
You have
Well,
advantage
yeah,
on those.
you have advantage.
So-
Oh, sorry. 23.
Okay.
Oh god, the first one was a crit and a nat 1. Jeez.
Literal min-max.
Yep. All right. So yeah, working during the day with Irune, you managed to clear out the stuff that was tainted, that was like rat eaten and all that. Managed to purify everything and get use your create water to make fresh water after purifying everything, so that making sure that there's no lingering disease in the materials where you're storing your water and food. And you manage to make a meal of and find some herbs to help both of your companions, well, 3 of your companions that were feeling sick. And by the end of the day, they're feeling better.
Okay.
And because we're reaching the end, we will say that the rest of you went hunting
Mm-hmm.
and either resting or creating stuff. I don't know if you want to create stuff while you're still poisoned, but maybe just resting.
Fair
I've
point.
been rolling real great, so I'm good.
I just quickly look what hunting was. Oh, right, 3 checks. It's a survival or nature, followed by perception and an attack.
Well,
19 survival.
6.
All right, perception.
8.
16.
Okay, and your attack.
14.
24.
What was the DC for that? Okay. So that was you managed to find 8 pounds of food and 2 hide. However, in the process of hunting, both of you get a bit lost.
Uh-oh.
And night falls, and you realize that you have no idea where the camp is, and if continuing on at night is probably just going to get you too far, even farther from the camp.
Mm-hmm.
I need one of you to make a survival check to find a place to rest.
Okay.
Could I
18.
aid? Never mind.
No, it's just straight. Okay. You managed to find a place to rest, so you do not suffer more consequences. However, because of the fact that you are sleeping without a tent or anything, you do each get a level of exhaustion.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna actually have to turn on the exhaustion counter.
Lovely.
The rest of you at camp have managed to fix all the infestation problem, but your hunting party does not come back, and that's where we're going to end the session.
Okay.
You got me lost.
I didn't get you lost.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. Mhm.
I did not.
I shouldn't be trusting an automaton to help me through a jungle.
Hey, we were fine when we were exploring. Also, when I brought down those rats, I felt weird, a bit satisfied. I didn't know I
That's
could do
concerning. Anyways, let's leave it where the automaton is enjoying killing things.
that. No, it's
Murderbot.
feeling things.
That's still
confused.
concerning. Killing is giving you feelings.
I'm sure we're not going to explore that today, but
Anything else to say, Kara?
yeah. Well, we've got another session on Friday of our regular Metamage, and next week is Hyrule
And Avernus.
and Avernus on Monday. So check in then. Thanks for watching, guys.
Bye.
Yay.
Bye, everyone.